I have hit live. Once
Hello, world.
a few people rolled in, the discussion can begin. Actually, I'm probably gonna lit my
Hey.
Huh?
How long does it take for YouTube to actually tell me that you're...
I mean, I don't know.
Oh, there you go. Didn't tell me, but it... First question.
It was good.
Was it good?
It wasn't. It was good. It's a statement, that one. But yeah, we'll let the viewers go up a little bit before I start talking about it. But I mean, you're on board with trying to do it scene by scene from what we remember, right?
Chronologically?
Yeah, and you know, doesn't have to be accurate. Just the best we can do. It's not hard because I know exactly where we begin anyway. It's the end of Ragnarok, isn't it?
Yeah. That's quite interesting that they decided to skip the fight and just be like, yep, he got fucked.
I mean, fuck. There's been plenty of fights in the film, isn't it?
Yeah.
But yes, hello everyone. I'm gonna be. This is obviously you're gonna be into spoiler territory here. So if you don't actually care to see the, I mean, it's in the title, right? I'm just warning because we're gonna want to go into everything. So hello there, welcome. We're gonna be talking about Infinity War, and it's I've just literally seen it. What, like just over an hour ago? And Fortea, you're even less than that, aren't you?
Yeah. Our film ended like 20 to 12, and it's now 27 after 12. So,
did you get to talk with your friends that much?
We discussed it a little bit in the car, but most of us just had melted brains. Basically, we mentioned cool scenes, funny scenes, nothing in depth.
Yeah, this will be on my Discord. You'll find it in Watto's Junkyards area. I'll probably put that in the description actually. So, give me a sec.
There's one thing they mentioned actually, which is, to me, is fucking unbelievable that the Russo brothers pulled off.
What's that?
I mean, it's later on in the film, so I guess if we want to keep it...
Oh, we can jump ahead and back, but we'll just try and keep a through line, you know? I'm curious now.
The thing is, it's not a huge thing, but it's just one of those things that, yeah, they care so much about the universe. The fact that Red Skull was there.
Dude, Alex said, wait, who was he? And I was like, the film we chose to watch.
Yeah.
The film we chose to watch before this one. I was like, that literally, oh my god.
Like, the thing is, I didn't get it at first. They actually had to remind me in the car, because I had completely blocked that out, because you and me literally had the discussion that they wanted him back for Avengers, but he denied it, right?
I don't know if it was Avengers, I just know that he denied coming back.
Yeah. So, like, my thoughts weren't at all going in that direction, and I was like, so why the hell was he there? And my friend was just like, have you seen Captain America? And I was like, no!
Yeah, I was, as soon as he took the thing off, I just went, Red Skull? And Alex was just like, who?
Oh, dude. Like, I was... When the puzzle pieces... Like, when everything clicked, like, why Red Skull was there, I was just like... Dude. Like, I literally had that reaction in the car on the way home. Like... Like, I just inhaled as if, like, out of breath. It was... Oof.
So, me and Fortea are going to go through as much as we kind of want to talk about, and then we'll take questions, because I don't want to involve it both all at the same time. It's going to be really confusing. So,
yeah, it's gonna be a shit show.
Let's start with the first... Well, do you want to start with just a brief, strict feelings? How did you feel about the film as a whole?
I mean, like I told you before we started, it's just so much to process right now. It's almost difficult for me to even, like, tell you if it's...
Oh, I mean, it doesn't even have to be... For example, what I say today is probably going to change over the next few days.
Well, I mean, I guess my first assessment is that it's jam-packed with stuff, and there's so much to discuss, I guess. I mean, I don't even know. I mean, okay, short answer, I liked it. It's good. That's the short answer.
For me, I would go as far as saying I loved it.
Yeah.
But there are a bunch of things that I have a problem with. Now,
Yeah.
the reason I love it, despite those things, is because I just adore these characters. And I've said it before, there is a kid in me that absolutely adores seeing powerful individual people doing their thing.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how much I enjoyed watching Iron Man and Doctor Strange fight side by side. That shit was awesome.
Yeah.
And then Spider-Man jumping into the mix. It's almost like, how did we get this part? Like, how did we get to this? This is so cool.
Do the part with Spider-Man and his teleport thingies, like the portals. Like,
oh yeah,
hello.
yeah. Not to mention
or something.
when he drops the like explosive on Thanos' back, and then he just middle fingers and falls back through a portal. It's so fucking awesome.
I like, dude.
There's so much. You know, you could call it fan service, right? And I'm okay with that. I just call it good fan service when it's good and bad when it's bad.
Yeah.
But that is the point of these fucking films, aside from...
Yeah. I mean, seriously, what do you expect? It's a film with, what is it, 40 characters, I think someone mentioned? It's like 40 main characters, good and bad.
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure the number was something like 72 characters. Just characters.
Oh.
That includes stuff like Red Skull and the scientist girl from Wakanda, you know?
So, I mean, they have to, quote-unquote, they need to have a fan service in one way or another.
Absolutely. And I would be unhappy if there wasn't.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. The thing is, if they had a movie and they were like, okay, no fan service, guys, let's just have the story and nothing else. They're like, it would be boring to watch because then it wouldn't be them. It wouldn't be the characters. It would just be some guy in a metal suit, some guy with an eye patch. It wouldn't be them if they didn't have their, you know.
Yeah, dude. When he's trying to Hulk out, and then Iron Man says, "You're embarrassing me in front of the wizards." I fucking love that line. Yeah, Tony was fantastic in this film yet again. Not that's a surprise.
Yeah, dude, I thought they were gonna kill him, man. I really thought they were.
Don't even care about admitting this because this is how much I adore his character. You can ask Alex in the cinema. When he brought out his spear, in my head I thought, Jesus Christ, that might be able to pierce Iron Man's armor because it's made of his armor. And then he broke it off and stabbed him. I literally went, no! I was just like, that's how invested I was. I was like, actually, give a shit.
I was so into the movie at that point. Like, I pretty much had your reaction, but in a different way. I actually went like,
yeah,
kind of like movie style. Like, oh my god.
So anyway, do you want to run back to the first scene, which would be so it's there's a common discussion that's happening in a lot of films recently, which is the tonal clash of comedy and drama. That scene for me had a little bit of that, where I was getting a little bit like, I want to laugh with Thor and Loki, you know, reminiscent of Ragnarok, but this is not the scene for jokes. That's how I felt about it. It was very serious, especially with the camera pan over all the corpses. I was like, oh, yep, so that's all the guys' Guardians. Which means Thor, as he says, lost everything. But I can't remember what they were, but there was a couple of jokes that had the audience laughing, and I was like smirking, but I was, in my back of my head, I was like, isn't this like tragic as fuck right now? And Loki's about to die.
I don't remember the jokes at all.
There's stuff like... this is the thing, I really can't remember. There was two heavy hitters in the audience, because that's all I remember. I just can't remember what they actually said. And Loki's being fucking, you know, coy or tongue-in-cheek. And Alex had to ask me as well. He was like, so is Loki dead then? Because he did die like that before, didn't he? And I was like, the film wants us to know he is dead. Especially with Thor, but even Thor is like, Thanos, maybe.
Thanos... like actually says it, like no
resurrection this time.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm pretty sure like even the directors are like, okay, we need to make sure he's actually like, you know, dead.
And
have him say something.
I liked that it was so obvious as well, because he was like pulling out the knife, and Thor is like, huh? It's like, no one's gonna believe that Thanos will die here, and then he just like stops him with, it's like bluey stuff, so it would be the space stone he stopped him with.
Yep.
Because I assume they always pick the colors for a reason, right? Like that he's actually using a specific power.
That is something that I'm really confused by. Because in the last fight, for example, like he kept countering the different attacks from the different Avengers, by, you know, different colors, and I was like, wait, can that stone do that? Wait, can that stone do that? Wait, can that stone do that?
Yeah,
I was like,
I need to watch it again, but I don't know if they were genuine, because he just boops them away for the most part, doesn't he?
Because I believe there's a sequence where he boops them like one person away with the blue stone. Like there's like a force field around them. It's like go away.
Dude.
And then he does the exact same thing with the purple stone. I'm like, wait, so it doesn't matter what stone he uses?
Yeah, I don't know if there was actual relevance to the colors. I'd have to remember what the colors even are. Yeah. What's the purple one? The Xandar one, right?
Yeah, that's the. I don't know. I know that the red is power, green is time, orange is soul or mind.
Yellow is mind.
Yellow is mind, so the orange is soul. So the purple would be.
Is it space?
Space is blue.
Oh, purple is power stone.
No, that's the red one.
No, that's purple.
Wait, what's the red one?
Red one is soul stone. No, reality stone. Sorry.
Oh, reality. Yeah, that's the one. Because yeah, again, I was really confused. But then I at first I was like, is this like something I should be concerned about? But then I realized that technically all the stones have like a tremendous power in themselves. So like the time, I mean, maybe the time stone is a bad example, but say the blue stone, even though it's like a quote unquote space stone, so it can like teleport you everywhere, it still has power because they draw that power in Captain America, right? They literally make shooting weapons from that power.
Are we trying to apply logic to all of these stones that essentially just fucking do stuff, don't they?
I mean, the stones themselves are made to break the universe. I mean, they made the universe, kind of, didn't they?
Yeah, it makes sense to me. I'm just saying that, like, his glove... Yeah. You know, it's pretty hard to nail it in terms of rules, and I don't think if you scrutinize this film that you'll come up with a consistent set of rules. I think you'll have plenty of questions like, why didn't Thanos do X? Why did Thanos do Y?
No.
And that's an interesting aspect as well, that Thanos isn't really much of a super being without the glove. He's like, I mean, he is, but he could be beaten by Iron Man without the glove.
Yeah.
Potentially. Because, I don't know about you, again, we're allowed to jump forward, but did you, from the film itself, do you get the idea that he died at the end?
No.
I assumed he did.
I mean, the thing is, I was really like, I was looking at his neck so hard because I wanted to see if like the blackness of his neck would start to like crumble into, you know.
Oh, I didn't think that would happen. I thought he was dead from what Thor did to him.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I thought that what he did was take the wound, and then he said something like, didn't he say something like, you should have gone for the arm?
No, you should have gone for the head, he said.
Oh, the head, right. My assumption with that was that you should have killed me instead of mortally wounded me.
Yeah.
And then he like falls back into the portal and then goes to that sunset that he said he always wanted to see. And I thought that was them saying, yeah, he's going there to die. Which I don't really understand, because his glove clearly still works, and he has the time ability. I said this to Alex, like, couldn't he just rewind time, avoid Thor, and then click his finger, and then portal away?
No.
It's a bit weird on the rules.
No.
Then again, I don't know if maybe a way out of that would be that if he is casting the time reverse, then he would still be wounded, right? Because he's immune to whatever happens.
I guess, yeah.
So that might be a way to save that.
I really liked what they did with the time stone, actually, because you and I both said that in the beginning of this film they have to like nullify the power of the time stone because it's OP, and instead of I mean, they did by
well, apparently Strange took it out of the thing, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, what I was meaning to say is that they nullified it by being so afraid that Thanos would get it that they didn't want to use it themselves. So,
is that good enough?
I mean,
because you know, the second that Strange saw that the place was being like ripped apart by this giant machine, I was just thinking to myself, like, if I was Strange, I might think about reversing time by a whole day, and then being like, okay, collect stock, collect people, be like, tomorrow this is happening.
No,
I don't know.
Again, the whole time aspect is just really. I think you can delve into that like infinitely. You can just like, okay, so why doesn't he just, you know, after Thanos gets the fifth stone, or the fourth or something. It's like, oh shit, he's about to win. Let's just rewind again and try it again.
I feel like there's a lot of so why didn't he just with this film?
Yeah.
And it's because of the raw fucking power of those gems or stones.
Yeah.
Like the reality one, for example, he makes a whole clone of himself that can actually be stabbed, you know?
Yeah.
Like it's physical. I'd just be like, why isn't he just fucking booping clones everywhere? Like Doctor Strange did to him, which was an awesome part, by the way.
Yeah.
There's lots of awesome shit in there. I like that.
Yeah.
Didn't he call him a wizard as well? He said you have lots of tricks, wizard, or something like that.
Yeah.
Really, I like that everyone keeps referring... It's good that Stark does as well, because obviously Stark is science, so he's just like, what the fuck is this shit?
But yeah, I don't think we should dwell too much into the stones, because they're like I said, they're literally made to break the logic, basically.
It's just that they are kind of important, because a lot of the drama in these fights depends on, you know, proper usage. I think they did really well, especially with how they nearly got it off him.
Yeah.
I liked the fact as well that they... Do they essentially imply that he can't power the glove or do a thing with the glove unless he makes a fist?
I think so, yeah.
And, yeah, the cloak and stuff. Oh, I just want to put it out there as well, the comedy in this film, there's so many fucking hilarious jokes.
Yeah.
I don't know how Marvel do it.
Yeah, it's so well made. And one thing that I noticed too is that it's not a lot of humor. There are some lines here and there are like some goofy stuff thingies, but there's definitely less jokes in this than there are in a lot of other films.
I'd still assume that there's less in Civil War. Civil War always came across to me as the one with the least jokes.
Yeah, maybe.
Like
I'd say that this is probably on par with Civil War.
Probably, yeah. Did you catch the, you know how they usually do the, like, they play the Avengers theme, and then they'll have a credit sequence that's all animated and interesting and stuff? This was the most morbid credit scene you've ever seen in Marvel.
Yeah.
Just white words on a black text flow. It was just like, ooh. But,
and also there was no, pre-credits scene. There was only a post-credit scene.
Yeah, and, by the way, one person in the entire audience that I was with left before the end of the whole thing.
Yeah, pretty much the same thing for me.
I was just like, why is that one person leaving? You're ruining it for all of us. And I'm guessing you caught it as well, but the end seems to allude to Captain Marvel.
Yeah, definitely.
So the prequel movie with her is coming out soon enough, and I'm sure it's going to set up what's going to happen and how they're going to undo this mess.
Yeah, because her movie is released before the sequel to this one. So I definitely think, well, it's probably going to be an origin story, but then they're going to touch on Nick Fury contacting her, probably.
Oh yeah, and there's probably going to be an after credits. No, there'll be a power she has in her film, and it's going to be applied to this tragedy, probably. That's my guess, anyway.
Well, from what I understood from my friends, Captain Marvel is basically Marvel's version of Superman. She can fly, she's super strong, she has like a bunch of powers, but nothing like time thingies.
Also, dude, when fucking Nick Fury got wiped out, you went, motherfucker.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. Talking about fan service.
And he knows what's happening, question mark? He's like, oh, it's this. It's the whole we get vaporized thing. It's like, wait, that's a thing you know about? Isn't the whole movie? Yeah. So, how did you feel about Heimdall being unceremoniously wiped out? I mean, it wasn't that bad because he sent Hulk back, which was it was good in terms of just that's something we know Heimdall can do. He grabbed the hilt of his sword when he did it as well.
No.
Though it makes you wonder if he could have gotten everyone out that way, just send them all. I don't know how it works.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, from what I understood, I mean, he even said it like, let me do this one last time. Like, I think he gathered all of his power to do that.
Okay.
So I guess he couldn't get all of them. He could only get one of them, and he chose Hulk, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, because he needs the Bifrost to be able to, like, get groups of people. I don't think we've ever actually seen him do it with just him.
No.
And I think, didn't Thor say something like, bring me to Asgard when he was in Sakaar, and then he was like, I can't, or something? I'd have to check that scene again to see if there was reasoning for it, but
No. Well, I believe he says like, "Allow me to gather the dark arts again, or dark's power again." He says something with dark powers. To do this one last time, I think he says.
Yeah, literally all Thor has is just Thor and then the Avengers that he knows.
No.
So yeah, did you feel sad when Loki got booped?
Yeah, I mean, he's... I don't know, Loki's difficult for me because, you know, he has been a dick. I mean, rewatching the Avengers, you're like, holy fuck, this guy has committed genocide, you know?
Not only that, but the fact is that Thor seems to give him a pass because he's a brother. I understand that, but I still can't help but look at Loki and be like, I don't fucking trust you.
Yeah, exactly.
You can tell his arc was that he gradually goes from being almost a strict villain to a strict hero. Because at first he was kind of nothing. He's a slate in Thor, and he starts developing quickly because he's like the timid, sort of useless one, and he gets a chance to take some power. And then he gets booted from the family, or he leaves them, and then he becomes a full-on villain, and slowly he's getting like injected with more heroic stuff as it goes, and he ends as a good guy.
Yeah, I mean, like I told you before, I was 100% certain, not from having seen things before the film and like making like assumptions and stuff, but after seeing the first scene in the film with Loki, I was 100% certain that he was gonna die. Because he was like, no, like with the whole like saving Thor thing, and then mentioning that he's Odin's son. I was like, yeah, they're just setting up for us to care about him so that killing him will be more impactful.
Which, yeah, Ragnarok helps.
Sure. Oh yeah, definitely.
But he still betrayed them in that. I know it's a part of his character. You know what I'm saying, though. It's just it makes. Yeah. I care. For example, like Captain America. He's just never someone who does any wrong. So I like care about him consistently. With Loki, I'm like, he's a good. Yeah. But at least I understand that like Thor's never gonna be happy to see him dead.
Yeah, exactly.
So I probably, like, and this is just getting really detaily, I probably would have killed him a bit differently. I would have preferred Thanos kill a clone when he missed the strike, and then, like, Loki's behind it, like, camera pans out, Loki's behind him and goes to stab him. Then Thanos stops that as well. Like, he stopped the first one and the second one. And he could have, like, an epic line, like, do you think I don't know you, Asgardian? Or something like that. And Loki like looks panicked, you know, and he can't move because he's just frozen him in space. And then you know, kill him like that. So it's very clear that this is just never something that he's coming back from. But I don't know. I felt like it could have been clearer because I was just like, for myself, I was like, he's gonna be dead. But this film could do a better job of making that obvious because even Thor was like, I'm not even sure he is definitely dead. It's like, I loved his and Rocket's chat though. He's like, time to be a captain. Did he say like, you don't want to put that right? Okay, I had only one way of hiding that. Oh, what do you think of that? They retconned his eye.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Strange choice.
I think it was like, yeah. I mean, the thing is, I'm not really sure why they did the eye thing to begin with. Like, the eye thing is, like, from what I know of Norse mythology, that's always been Odin. I don't know why they did it in Ragnarok at all.
Well,
I guess
it would be fine if it happened and we dealt with it from that point on. But now it's been undone. It's just like, what was the point of it?
Yeah, I don't really understand the whole eye thing.
Really feels like a retcon, and now I want to get the Russo's assessment of it.
No.
Alex was literally like, was it because he didn't want to wear the patch? And I was like,
yeah,
I don't know. I guess. Really, because they've established that Rocket steals limbs and pieces of body parts, and I'm like, okay with that. And it's funny that he just has an eye. That's fine.
Isn't that an actual reference, though?
The eye?
Yeah, because I think, because it sounded so familiar to me when he told the story. Because doesn't he, like, joke about that in Guardians of the Galaxy, where he's like, oh my god, could you imagine waking up and he doesn't have an eye? Like, I think that's like a scene in the Guardians of the Galaxy 1.
It could be. I've only seen that film once. That could be why I don't quite remember it.
Oh wait, maybe it's Guardians of the Galaxy 2 when they're in the prison. I don't mind. I think it sounded familiar to me though, so I think it's in there somewhere.
I was gonna say because he stole the leg in the first film, didn't he?
No.
And he steals stuff, and then there's I really like the line where he's like, "I'm gonna have the arm," but then he's like, "No," he's like, "I'm gonna get that arm." So yeah, that's that. Then Hulk gets sent down. The fight with Hulk was quite a good establishment of Thanos. Like it was like he can be hit, he can even be beat, as in like beaten, but that he just turns it around on Hulk and knocks him out.
No.
And Hulk from that point is actually too scared to come out about it.
Yeah, that I thought that was really interesting. At first I was like kind of like shying away from it. I was like, wait, what the fuck? Like why is this a thing? And then I kind of started thinking about it. I was like, I guess he's like ashamed for losing and scared.
I was gonna say the most that ever happens to Hulk is he gets angrier and faster and stronger.
Yeah, he's never actually well, Tony beats him, doesn't he?
Well, they say that, but like they smash into a thing, and then
Hulk see all the people running away, and he like
he gets caught. He gets sucker punched by Tony then.
Yeah,
and it's not like he wants to continue that fight at that point. Yeah, then we go to he lands in Cabratage or whatever the place is called, isn't it? After Thor gets blown up in the ship, which as soon as I saw that I was like, oh, that's how he meets the Guardians, okay. It's like, I was wondering if he was going to get thrown out. I figured for definite that Thanos was going to grab him and throw him out of the ship or something.
No.
Also,
I mean, that's kind of, I do like that they explained why they were going there with the whole distress call.
Yeah, well, you mean the Guardians, right? Like,
yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense.
But I did feel that it was kind of like, not forced, but it was kind of like, okay, so they just happened to smash into Thor. There's like billions of people floating around. It's like, oh wow, they happened to smash into the one guy that's actually alive. Okay.
Yeah, it sort of speeds it up, right? Instead of them scanning for life and then finding him and running over to him, it's just like, ah, fuck it. Because none of them... That's something that actually Alex picked up on. He's certain of this. I'd have to rewatch it myself. But he said that nobody ever says his name is Thor. Thor doesn't ever tell anyone that he's Thor. And then Gamora, after not knowing who the fuck he is, says, Thor, you need to know, blah, 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 blah. And he said he was certain that there's just something cut out dialogue-wise where he says, I am Thor, or something like that. I need to see it again. Because I actually had that thought, but I was just like, I must have missed it.
I mean...
It's not like a tiny continuity error.
Yeah, I mean, even if it is, it could have just been something that happened off-screen. I mean, I don't really care about that.
Well, I actually asked if there was a time skip. I was like, I can't remember if the scene's all in one. He said, no, it's definitely all in one. And I was like, okay.
Oh yeah, speaking of time skips, I actually thought that was... I mean, it makes sense. There's nothing special, really. But I thought it was an interesting detail that they mentioned that it's actually past 2 years since Civil War.
Yeah, because Civil War and Ragnarok are supposed to be pretty much side by side. Yeah. Homecoming is between them and this film. I guess Guardians 2 is as well. But yeah, it's been 2 years.
But they also just like touch on it briefly because I think Vision and Wanda, they say that like, oh yeah, we've been here for 2 years. And then I think Falcon says that, wow, you guys have had a rough couple of years.
Yeah.
There's like the only two mentions that it's actually passed quite a bit of time, actually. Which means that Avengers have been separated for 2 fucking years. So this is like the first time they actually,
and
like...
How do you feel...
and Cap have been separated for 2 years.
Just a number out of 100, how did you feel about the continuity of what happened in Civil War?
What do you mean? With like the
like 100
there?
being the best and 0 being the terriblest? Just in terms of the echo of Civil War's events coming into this film.
Oh, difficult question. I mean, maybe 1890. I think they could have touched on it a little bit more.
I was going to say 1890, and it's mainly because they have Ross there, literally Thaddeus Ross. I was like, wow. And he's like, he's talking about the Accords and the effect it's had, and how even Rhodey is just like, all you did was label them as criminals. I was like, that was a good line.
No. I wish they had more of those scenes, because there wasn't that much of it.
Yeah, the only other significant one was how he's like, call Cap, and then Iron Man's like, can't.
Yeah.
And then it's just like stuff's gone down, and he's like, Tony, this is the end of the world. Doesn't matter who you're not speaking to. I thought that was great, but then obviously it gets cut off.
But then one thing that I thought was kind of weird was that Banner picks up his phone, and like as if he knew that this is the phone to call Cap with.
Well, you saw him pull it out, and
yeah,
and it was the reason why I probably let it slide is the fact that it's a fucking old ass flip phone. Nobody uses those.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Just seeing something like that on the floor would actually probably raise my eyebrow. I'd be like, a flip phone.
Yeah. Also, one thing that I'm confused about is was where Wanda and Vision was?
Yes.
Was Cap and those guys there also? Like, were they in Scotland just like...
I think that Scarlet Johansson, sorry, says while they're in the spaceship, like going back to Wakanda, or heading to Wakanda, or heading to the Avengers stronghold, whatever, she says, we're supposed to be, off the grid, but staying in contact, otherwise these things happen, or something like that. I think she has a throwaway line to just try and say that they weren't there, they found them, and they got there in the nick of time, I guess.
Yeah, so how the fuck did they find them? Because Vision turned his thingy off.
Oh, fucking, I don't think you really need an explanation for that, considering Wakandan resources. That's the fucking answer to all of this at this point.
Nah, I guess that's true.
And, yeah, who says he's off yeah, Tony says he's off the grid.
Yeah.
Because the Vision is supposed to be on Tony's team, isn't it, out of the split.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I really liked how Strange and Iron Man kicked off butting heads completely because they're both fucking alphas.
Yeah.
Like, from both of their films, Doctor Strange genuinely knows that he knows best, and Tony is kind of the same. Oh, that's a line I loved, by the way. He said something like, give up Stark or something like that, whatever, and then he says, you know me, and then he says, you share the curse of knowledge, or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
And I was just like, oh, great line, because the whole point of Tony is that he makes decisions based on what's best in terms of, like, the overall good, usually, and, it can be misguided and it can go badly, but the point is that that's exactly how Thanos feels what his decisions are.
No.
It's best for the world and no one understands, and just the fact that he'd have some kind of, like, camaraderie with him.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, back to... The fight just breaks out. I don't know how you felt about it all, but I like the suit up once like Tony takes off his glasses and it just all starts to form around him. I was just like, oof.
Yeah. Fucking man, epic.
Yeah, and then there's just the combo of him and Doctor Strange. But Doctor Strange is fucking... They're good they got rid of telekinesis, dude, because he just kept stringing up Strange's arms, and it just made it so he couldn't do shit all. It's just like, please no. Who, by the way, I'm almost certain is voiced by General Hux.
Really?
I'm gonna check it now because I heard his voice so clearly in there. And if that's true, my god, that guy gets a lot of work. He's in so many films.
Oh, and the Dwarf Man is in this as well.
Yeah. Peter Dinklage. I was surprised to see that.
Yeah, it really was.
And it's very... I guess that's the problem with a film this huge. There's always going to be stuff that just couldn't have been accounted for. Because, like, who the fuck ever knew about this team of dwarves that the Asgardians got weapons from in exchange for protection, I guess? It was just like, okay. It's like, also they can make a weapon that can destroy...
I think that is mentioned somewhere. I haven't seen the Thor movies in a while, but I think that's an actual thing they talk about.
Well,
how he got his weapon and stuff.
My Thor knowledge is terrible, so...
Yeah, same, but I think that's an actual thing, because it does ring a bell for me.
Oh, I guess it isn't him then, because I just checked his filmography and it's not mentioned anyway, but... He had the British high, posh and high-pitched voice... And he was often whiny in different bits. I got a completely different perspective of him from the trailer. I was expecting that guy to be like Tywin style, where he'd be like deep-voiced, very careful and planning about what he says. Because, I really like the bit where I think Iron Man blasts the big dude at him, and he just wafts him away because he doesn't want to get hit by him, but he doesn't care about him. I was like, that's neat.
Yeah, those guys were established as powerful in the beginning. They were like, yep.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of how the big dude and the girl died. They both sort of just got... Like, you know when he attaches the glove to him? I was like, oh, nice move, and it sends him up in the air, and I was like, yeah, that'll get rid of him. It's like, that killed him?
Yeah, that kills him. I was really surprised by that.
It's like, he's the last person you would expect to be killed by that shield since those random dudes are getting through it. You'd think that he would just be able to, like, blast through it, because he's like the Hulk of Hulks, by the looks of things. But yeah, no, he just died. I was like, oh, wow.
Yeah, every single one died, didn't they?
Yeah, all 4 of them. Well, for all we know, because the other one was thrown at a wheel, and it's just sort of established, yeah, she's dead. I was just like, oh.
I think a friend of mine said that she was, like, obliterated. You could see her body parts, like...
Oh, wow, Carrie Coon was that Proxima Midnight, I'm assuming is her name. The one with the spear. I did like, oh dude, I had someone really annoying in the cinema who kept randomly making comments, and I was, you know when he catches the spear, I knew from the trailer that was going to be Cap, and I was just like, yeah, there he is, and then the person next to me went, oh. It's like,
Oh my god.
the fuck? got some Captain America hate. But yeah, I suppose it still benefited this film to have seen Black Panther, by the way, because of,
No.
get to at least recognize all of the people. I did kind of, you know, I don't know how people are going to feel about this, but like, I like the girl power trio when they fight in the other girl, the evil girl. It's like 3 good girls versus evil girl. Nothing to do with fucking feminism, it was just neat. It's like, we just like, it's okay just because they were girls. I mean, there's plenty of guys.
I kind of feel the same way, but like about the, you know, Black Panther technology. Whereas, like, I appreciate the Russo brothers for, like, you know, respecting the universe and being like, okay, we're gonna bring this into our film because it's a thing. But I still don't like, you know, the cloaks being shields. But I still thought it was like,
at least they make way more sense in that environment, right? A war with, while they just have them casually as their thing in Black Panther.
Yeah.
Just cause, like, I always found that weird, but like, you know, if we hadn't seen Black Panther, I'd be like, oh, they've got these shields, it uses the same technology as their dome, and they've probably donned these in prep for a big war.
Yeah.
As opposed to, we're sending some ships with weapons on it, we have no expectation of fighting people, and it's like, oh, it's just because our cloaks happen to have that ability. It's just like, oh, whatever.
It's weird, man. Like, somehow, it made more sense in this film than it did in Black Panther, even though it's the exact same technology.
Yeah. And I did
It's
like
weird.
that, they actually... Oh, okay, so I didn't like... I have to talk about this. The creatures are getting through in the most lowest, pathetic numbers you could imagine, right? It's like 1 per 10 actually got through the shield. And then they see them going around, they're like, oh god, if any one of those gets through, like, Vision's gonna be fucked. So instead of sending someone like Captain America back and just to cover Vision's room, any one of them could have done it. They decided to open a fucking floodgate. I was like, if you're gonna open it, which is a neat idea, make it small, not massive. And I know that you could be like, well, apparently that's the smallest they could open. I'd just be like, oh, come on. Like, that's like a force righted thing. But then like they pour in, and that forces Scarlet Witch to go down and fix it all for them, which then makes Vision vulnerable. And I was just like, if everything was based on that, because if they had gotten the thing out of his head, which they looked like they were getting close to, considering Tech Girl was like rushing it towards the end.
No.
Then yeah, she could have smashed it before Thanos would have gotten there. I guess he could still rewind time. But then, see, the rules start to get weird, because if he rewound time by like a whole week or something, would he keep the gems and then generate new ones that were previously in places? Like, how the fuck does that work?
But yeah, I do believe that that he's gonna be... 'cause technically he is a robot, right? So I think he's gonna be fixed by Shuri in the next film.
It's possible. I felt really bad when he went black and white, essentially.
Yeah, that was actually pretty cool, because that you know, another reminder that he's a robot. He's not actually a thing.
Also, I did. You caught his last line to her, right? He said, "I love you."
Yeah.
I thought that was quite sad. felt for
Yeah,
it
there's
when
a
he
lot
got
of
booped.
emotion, though, man. Like Spider-Man's death scene.
I was
Dude,
actually gonna say that shit was heavy when he's dying. I already thought to myself, they'll undo this because they're killing way too many characters. But when he dies in Tony's arms, I was like, oh my god, that's a fucking nightmare for Tony.
Yeah, dude, that hit me so hard. I was like so close to shedding a tear. I was like, my eyes was tearing up like fuck. I was, holy mother. That was a really well-made scene.
Because he died saying shit children say, which is like,
Yeah, exactly.
I don't want to go.
Yeah, that's exactly what I wanted to touch on, because it's like, you're bringing this, like, I think he's 16 in the film. He's supposed to be, at least. So he's like, and Tony keeps mentioning it, that like, you're a kid, go away. You're a kid, go away. And then he like actually like, instead of being this macho guy, when he's on the brink of death, he gets terrified and does exactly what you expect a 16-year-old to do. Like, it's so in character. I fucking love the Russo brothers, man.
Well, I was gonna say, I said to Alex, like, character is just fucking perfect for me in this film. I loved pretty much everything done with all the characters. Though, you know, if I gave it some super thought, I might be able to pick some things. But it's the plot that was getting me a bit, like, tied up. And there's a bunch of things in plot I don't like. But there's so many great character moments.
Yeah.
I loved the whole scene where the Guardians, or what is sort of the Guardians team, meet up with the Avengers team. And their fight. Yeah. And fucking, like, he's talking about the plan from Alien, which is that Ripley blows the alien out into space. He does that with Thingy, which I can't believe they managed to nail that again, because the reference to Star Wars was great in the first one. But he's like, if anything, he, like, puts his babies in me, I just don't want to, you know, sort that out. And then he meets up with Mantis. He's like, don't put your eggs in me.
Yeah, no.
Oh, dude, when he's...
I did find it a bit weird, though, that he used exactly the same line as in Civil War. You know that really old movie?
Yeah.
I was just like, okay, I know that, like, maybe...
I think he might say the classic... There might be a slight difference, but yeah, he does sort of do the same thing. And it's probably because of the fact that they're trying to egg on the fact that he's young, and that's the whole point. I still love Spider-Man in these films. I still think he's my favorite iteration of him, but, yeah, when they're trying to gear up in terms of, like, figure out where everyone is with Mark Ruffalo in the Avengers compound, and then they're like, where's Ant-Man? Then he goes, wait, there's an Ant-Man and a Spider-Man?
Yeah. There's an Ant-Man and a Spider-Man? No, Thanos calls him insect. I was like, oh man.
Yeah.
It was rude.
Dude, when they were having that fight and we felt like we were nearing the end of it, I was like, please, someone's gonna suddenly die. I don't want someone to suddenly die. And then it was Iron Man got stabbed. I was like, yeah.
Yeah, dude, that was... Whew. I really thought they were gonna kill him there. Like, really.
Alex was like, so I guess Iron Man's dead then, at the end of the film. And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, well, he's gonna bleed out, isn't he? I was like, no, he used his goo on it. He's like, what goo? And I was like, he, like, sprayed some goo. It's like, he's fine. He goo sprayed, he's fine.
But one thing that I was kind of confused about is that I thought that the, like, quote-unquote weakness with the gauntlet is that you can only use one stone at a time. But when he aims his fist at Iron Man, all the stones light up. And I was like, wait, okay. Because I thought that had something to do with how they were going to defeat him, like being, oh, he uses this stone, let's do all of this stuff. Like, I thought that was going to, like, end up being a strategy for them.
Yeah.
To counter his different stones. But then all of them lights up when he's about to kill Tony. I was like, okay, so that's...
So, something that I really want to actually talk about, like I said, we're jumping around, but it's fine. I'm keeping track. We're just at when they enter into his donut ship, so we're fine. But,
yeah.
The idea that all of this is by Doctor Strange's plan.
Yeah, that was...
I think that's a potential for why we shouldn't be worried that Doctor Strange has planned for all of this. No. Because one thing I don't quite like is the fact that he gave up the stone for Tony's life. I was like, why would he do that? I don't think these guys like each other enough for him to do that. But not only that, it's just Tony could die anyway if you give that up. So why do it? I think it's part of he went through the, you know, however many thousands of versions. I think there's a chance that he...
Actually.
Yeah, I think there's a chance that he went through the one they just did. He even saw Star-Lord fuck up. But it all results in a win, and he's probably... this is all probably a part of the plan. That's what I would assume.
Yeah.
But yeah, potential for that. It's funny that I love seeing Doctor Strange, watching him interact with characters, all of it, aside from his movie. I didn't like him in his movie.
No.
But I just love seeing him in this. And like I said, I love seeing them clash as well. But,
I love the scenes with the Star-Lord and
oh, fuck,
Man.
dude.
Fucking amazing.
Just other memory where he says, hey, create a distraction. And he goes, what? We're all gonna die! So fucking great.
Yeah, I thought that was so funny too. Oh my god!
Just immediately.
And Peter's like, oh,
Yeah, okay, that works.
I thought it was so cool too when he flew under the bridge. I was like, ooh, Spidey.
Yeah, no, like I said, dude, when they're all fighting and then Spider-Man stops him and he goes, hello, Mr. Stark. I was like, yes!
Oh.
When he knights him and says, you are now an Avenger, and he's just like so happy about that.
Yeah, and then he's like, oh wait, no, I gotta be serious.
Yeah. Oh, we're using our made-up names. It's so interesting to see how so many of the scenes are filmed and presented differently than the trailer. They're like different versions.
Ooh, yeah. That was really... I actually thought about that a lot. Like, I was like, okay, ooh, that's a scene. Wait, but they cut out, like, the beginning part of that sentence.
Hmm.
It was really interesting to see.
So yeah, Donut, they all get on. Oh, and there's that scene for, because that's the thing, it seems like they have to sprinkle developments, and it's like, they keep having trouble, Tony and Pepper. They're back together with Spider-Man Homecoming, and now she's like, he's talking about, you know, setting up, isn't there a wedding?
Yeah, he talked about, like, a ring or something.
Yeah, and that he's actually talking to her about a baby as well. And then she's like, you're not on that ship, and he just loses connection with her, and it's just, you know, that realization is like, he can't not, he has to.
No.
And it's small, but it's great, because it's just, you see a realization in his face where he's just like, yeah, I'm on the ship.
Yeah, exactly.
I had to be on this ship. What choice do I have?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that all happens. And
the Spider-Man scene where he's like, how can I be the neighborhood spider if there's no neighborhood?
yeah.
That doesn't make sense, but you know what I mean.
Because Tony just gives him a look like, what the fuck?
Oh, I love the Spider-Man character.
Oh, and it's funny as well, because I'm such a, like, I love being surprised with things that make sense. When he's like, when the ship's going up into space, I was like, Spider-Man can't survive. He's gonna fucking be just like, there's no way he gets out of this. And then he's like, activate 17B, and I was like, what is that? Like a fucking support for Iron Man or something? And then it just attaches it to Spider-Man. I was like, oh, of course, he has the metal suit in this film. I was like, oh my god, that of course would have oxygen or whatever in it.
Yeah, I remember, like, when that scene happened, I actually went like, ooh. In the movies, I was like, oh shit.
Oh, dude, his
really
spider
didn't see it
legs.
coming, but it's so obvious when you see it, right?
The spider legs were so useful in so many parts of that film.
Dude, I from what I understood, that's like a reference to, like...
What's the Iron Spider, right? I'm pretty sure that's like an actual gear.
Yeah, I think it's a thing. I have no idea, unfortunately, but I believe that's like a thing that he or something has.
Yeah, if you literally Google Iron Spider, there's loads of art of him with the legs. Interestingly, there's 3 in most of it. Like as if, I guess there's usually 3. I think it was like 6 in the film, right?
I thought it was creepy.
It is kind of creepy, but
Looked too much like a spider.
so useful.
Oh yeah, definitely. Made great use of it in the film, so it's not like it's like, oh, forced in there, blah blah blah. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, apparently in 616. So
By the
what
way,
happens then?
Random question: is 17 a like reference to something? Because the section they open up in Wakanda is 17 as well.
I haven't thought about
I think I know there's like a thing in Disney movies where they have, I don't know if it's 17, but it's like it's a section of Hollywood, like the part of Hollywood where they like opened up Disney or something. Disney's first film is like the studio where it's all began. It's like it's always a number that you see in films. I'm not quite sure if it's 17 or if it's something else.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Did you like in the opening credits where it did Marvel Studios and it changes the I and O to 10 because of the 10 years?
Oh, did they? I missed that.
Yeah, they did. When I saw it, I was like, 10 years they've
I do
created
like
this.
the end though, where they go Avengers Infinity War and then it just like crumbles like the people did.
Yeah. No, the ending is really somber.
Mm.
And I know that the directors must know that we know that all those characters want to stay dead.
Yeah, exactly.
For example, I said there's a Spider-Man Homecoming 2, and Alex was like, oh, it could be a prequel. I was like, they've done the prequel. Like, this not going to be a prequel, it'll be a sequel. We're just going to have to wait.
I wish I didn't know all of that. Like, metadata. I really wish I didn't know all of that stuff.
Yeah. Well, as soon
And,
as Black Panther disappeared, that's when I knew it was not a real thing. I was like, you can kill Winter Soldier, that could happen. But, you can't kill Black Panther because he's hot off the presses right now. He's the most money-making one. They're of course going to make another Black Panther.
No. And I mean, the thing is, speaking of metadata, I don't know if you want to know this, but I'll just say that there's been like photos leaked from sets that kind of doesn't explain what the next movie's going for, but it's like kind of hinting. So yeah.
Yeah, I'll probably. I mean, if it becomes relevant, say for example, I say, I'm pretty sure this has happened, then you go, probably not because of this. That's cool, but it may as well not just like blurt.
Yeah. I won't say too much because a friend, like one of my friends that I went to the movie with, he kept spam showing me pictures of stuff, and I was like, kind of don't want to see this, dude.
Yeah, it does feel that way, doesn't it? For example, we could find out how many films they're all contracted to be on, but I don't search for that.
Yeah,
I only find out from, articles getting linked and stuff.
Yeah, that's unfortunately something I know about Spider-Man as well.
Yeah. Trying to think of what actually happens next chronologically. It's like you do, because we could just talk about the cut to this Vision and Scarlet Witch.
No,
I could not think of the scenes in Civil War that's built those two up.
Yeah,
and I really liked this is what I want to talk about when I make my video. When she turns around and sees Captain America, it's like that's the guy that like he's the hero guy. So it's just like a relief for her. It's like he's always the one that protects people, and obviously she chose his side in Civil War as well. So it's just like a nice. You get all of those things behind the reaction. It's not just on its own. Not just someone helping. I'm trying to think as well. Yeah, they kick way more ass than the superpower people. Scarlett Johansson like nearly kills the Goblin dude.
Yeah.
And they go to finish him off. Her line is something like, "We can kill you, and we will," or something like that. I was just like, "Oof, they're not fucking around." Also, poor Vision, man. He's been so nerfed in this film, and I know it's to do with you need him to be nerfed. And Scarlet Witch got fucking, I would actually argue, be buffed. It's very fucking clear that she's the best one as far as the films are concerned.
Oh yeah, she's like crazy powerful. Like the moment she enters the battle, well, her and Thor. Yeah. The moment they entered the battlefield, it was like the enemy got obliterated.
Thor kicked ass with that weapon. It's like, why didn't you have that instead of Mjolnir?
Yeah. Dude, and that axe was fucking big too, man. Like when he like pierced it into Thanos, and you saw that it's like pretty much like from his knee up to his fucking shoulder almost.
Which is why I assumed they were saying that that's a mortal wound. And Thanos is he's not got regeneration, or he's not got strong skin. He's just got ambition, and he's a powerful race.
Yeah. Well, he has the Infinity Stones now.
Of course, but they don't stop you from dying apparently.
Yeah.
Probably should have kept his armor on. But yeah, their relationship, I thought it was pretty solid, and it was well built up and paid off in the film.
Mm-hmm.
I felt really bad for her when she had to kill him.
Oh yeah, definitely. And like you said, the fact that he actually says "I love you" right before he dies as well.
Yeah, because he's a robot. That's the whole point of it being so kind of beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, when he got stabbed, I was actually legit surprised in their scene where he's saying goodbye to her, or she's going to like a train station or something.
No.
That cuts they're like having to like maybe I'll stay. It's like, whoa.
Yeah. That also they kind of had like a throwaway line. I'm not sure if it was explained a little bit more later on if I missed it, but it was like he was like, "Oh, this thing pierced me and it's not allowing me to phase."
Yes.
And he's like, how's that possible? And he just says it's not supposed to be. And I was like,
Yeah, and of course, because all you need to do, isn't it, is phase and then just float away, and you'd be fine.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah, exactly.
They make it so that you can't.
Yeah, they don't explain it. They just say that, okay, this is a thing now. Deal with it. And I wish they would have maybe elaborated more on that. Maybe saying that it's a this and that kind of
I figured
weapon.
they were going to make it the whole... You know, his gem was, like, doing weird things? I thought it was just going to be like, he's just nerfed because his gem is acting up.
Yeah, maybe.
But
I mean, at least that would have made it a little bit more... I mean, it's not that it doesn't make sense. It's just I wish I had a little bit more to go on than a line, basically. It's not supposed to be. Like, what does that mean? Does that mean that they have better tech than we do? Does that mean that it's, you know, magic? Like, why? Why is it not supposed to be that way?
Yeah, it wasn't... This is the thing. I would go as far as saying that Civil War was better than this film, like, writing-wise.
Yeah.
But this film has so many payoffs and so much nerdgasmy stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And this is the reason why Captain America, for example, the first one, you know, like how me and you felt like there really isn't much problems in terms of writing, but when you really well write a film that can only do so much, it just doesn't hit those notes, so you're just like, yeah, okay.
No.
That was
But,
good.
I mean, the thing is, a lot of people coming into this film was like, okay, this is going to be so hard to like and so hard to, you know, watch because there is a bajillion characters in the film.
Yeah.
But take that concept and just look at what they got out, like what the result of the film was. Like they took something with like maybe each character had just a couple of minutes on the screen in total. And like this came out, the incredible character building and story.
Sorry, I just caught Bio's comment. He's right. The two things that were said, as far as I know, I haven't seen actual quotes, but the Russo brothers did say that this is not this is a one-part movie and then another one-part movie. There's no like, it's not like a two-parter, and it's like it's clearly a two-parter.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
There's no way around that. It's a cliffhanger I've never seen before in Marvel films. That's a huge cliffhanger.
Yeah.
And I was saying to Alex, they've been only for 5 years to wait before we see how this all concludes. Jesus.
I mean, my guess is, and I'm pretty sure there's a lot of, you know, geeks out there that can confirm this, but my guess is that the all the people who died to the gauntlet, like the dust deaths,
All been sent somewhere.
Yeah, no, not sent somewhere. I think it's. I mean, maybe, but I think all of those deaths are going to be restored. So you know, half of humanity is going to be restored.
The deaths I think that are permanent are going to be people like Loki and Gamora.
Yeah, Loki, Gamora, and I don't think the Vision is dead. I think he will be. You know,
that one's 50-50 for me. But I can definitely see the logic that he could be repaired because he is a robot.
Yeah,
it just depends on how important that gem is.
Yeah, they did mention that you know he can't live without the gem. That was actually a line that was said. So.
You say he can?
He can, yeah. He can.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's pretty obvious because they were trying to detach him from the gem.
Yeah. And they said that he will still be the Vision, not about the best part of him.
Oh, yeah, didn't they say something like, one thing fucked could fuck everything up? That's the line she did have. She said, like, if you fuck one of the connections, it could just cause a massive... And obviously the connections were fucked when he pulled it out of his head.
I mean, yeah, but I think what... That line was more referring to the fact that she will need a lot of time to fix this. So now when they technically don't have a time pressure anymore, because I mean, the climax has already happened. I think maybe like with enough time,
you know what? Yeah,
restore everything.
Russo brothers are apparently working on an Avengers movie for 2019, so it's just going to be a year from now.
Yeah,
which is fine. I can deal with that. gimme. Yeah, so...
Russo brothers, so good, man. Fuck.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you have to... This is something me and Alex are talking about. As much as you can definitely pick up on problems in this film, absolutely. It's such an impressive achievement.
Yeah, it really is.
To make a cap off to, 18 other movies? Like, I know there's not a cap off to all of them, but there's so many references, it's insane. So many things that you could be like, oh yeah. And it's just like, oof.
Again, like, my hat's off to fucking Russo brothers. They're so invested in the universe. It's absolutely amazing. Like the fact that they even brought Red Skull back. It's like it's nothing we've thought about. And you know, with the whole like you said that he was supposed to come back for another film, but he said no, and then he actually comes back for this. Like,
well, Alex was saying he referenced that, and I was like, it might be that he's just entirely CGI and he's just done the voice. You never know.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's what I think, because the main problem was the makeup, right? So he maybe he said, well, I'll come back if you know CGI my face.
Oh,
And
you know, it's just something that made me think of. I think they went a bit overboard with Thanos' tears when he kills Gamora. I know that they wanted us to be like, he is sad, but there's like 3 different close-ups of a tear going down his face, and I was like, you only need one, and it needs to be subtle, I think, because of the kind of person Thanos is. But they do it a few times, and I was like, okay, film, I understand, I get it. Yeah. And it was, I still felt bad for him, by the way.
That was also one of the scenes where I was like, yeah, she's dead, 100%.
Oh yeah.
Like as soon as he said, you need to give away something you love. And with the whole,
by the way,
teasing of him, grabbing.
Yeah, I immediately in my head was like, if I was doing this scene, I would have her be in I would have her gloat because she knows there's nothing he loves, and then there's the twist, and that's exactly what she does.
Yeah, I saw that twist coming as soon as he said something you love. I was like, wait, what does Thanos love? Oh yeah, because we've had.
And then you have the thought, gee, lucky he brought her down with him instead of like random subordinates or something.
Yeah, that was kind of convenient. But I wonder if Gamora is the only one he loves, because he does say that he lost everything in the end, right?
Yeah. And
so I guess he doesn't love the blue
Thanos is something that we need to talk about a lot. I'm going to try and delay that a little bit so we get further through other bits of the film. Yeah. But yeah, I really loved when Nebula basically crashes her ship into him, jumps out, attacks the crap out of him, and the first thing she aggressively says is, "Where is Gamora?" I was just like, oh man, because she knows that Gamora just sacrificed the planet to save her, or the universe.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Which you gotta appreciate, because Nebula was a bad guy. She's another bad guy turned.
Yeah.
Which is...
Oh, there's so much shit going on, dude.
Yeah, that's the thing.
There's so many storylines, like, that all clash together, but it's so well made, and it's just like, oh my god. Oh.
And me and Alex were talking about this, we were like, I don't see Marvel as a series recovering from this too well, as in, we've hit an all-time high here. This is the peak of, like, so many different things coming together. It's like, and it just, once part 2 is done, it's not like it's gonna, slowly crawl down a bit and then crawl back. It's gonna be a dead drop with new characters being brought in, new stories to establish, a new villain to slowly talk about, and then basically, essentially season 1 and then the beginning of season 2, but in films. So it's really hard to think about how the hype will be maintained.
That's an interesting thought, actually, because this has been a 10-year TV show, kind of. Like, they've been teasing, the Infinity Stone there, like in what is Avengers, and then that Infinity Stone, and that Infinity Stone, and now 10 years later, here's the climax.
Oh, and you got the obvious reference when Iron Man is... I think Bio's been sort of making comments about this as well. Don't want to take it away from him, but in Age of Ultron, where he has the vision of everyone being gone, essentially, and that's where Tony is right now at the end of this film.
Oh yeah.
And I think it was perfect that they have Spider-Man in his arms as the last person to go, because it's obviously, he's kind of... Where Doctor Strange is like, who is this kid, your ward? And it's like, no. But it's kind of like, yes.
Yeah. Fuck, man, that was such a good scene. And it wouldn't mean as much if it wasn't for...
Homecoming?
The character building.
I was going to say, you got it in Civil War, like a taste, and then Homecoming, there's a whole bunch of scenes you could reference.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, they have that as a payoff. And, yeah, I loved everybody in that. Like I said, the scene where they meet up and they all clash together. There's a lot of... The Russo brothers, I think I said this in Civil War as well. Oh, it's obvious in Civil War, but in this film, they have a really good idea of taking care of their characters in fights. Making them... Yeah. Like, if you said, for example, how in the hell does Scarlet Johansson counter anyone? And like every fight she's been in is always like oh yeah, no, yeah, oh yeah. It's like she managed to injure the shit out of one of those Black Order people because she used their own weapon on them. It's just like, yeah, that's always a good way to injure a person, is to use their own weapon, because it's going to be as powerful as their own armor usually.
Yeah, exactly.
Um,
Where are we in the film right now?
we got past them
I think we're
rescuing
only
Vision.
like a tenth into the movie or something.
Oh yeah,
This movie was really long. There was so much stuff.
Drax again stealing the show, sort of.
Dude.
He's so fucking funny. How long have you been standing there? An hour.
Drax was the funniest thing in the film, I think, because he had so many lines that were just meant to be, you know, funny lines. It was just like
fantastic.
They went full on Drax. Like he was the comic relief of the film, like almost entirely by himself.
Yeah, and they still maintained his same reaction. Because this is the thing, he's not grown as a character, quote unquote. Like, you know, I would probably argue at all. He's exactly the same as we met him in Thingy, other than he cares about these people now as well. But remember when he first saw Ronan in Guardians of the Galaxy, and he's like, you know, fucking revenge for my family, and runs it in. They actually have like a proper fight, don't they? He does the exact same thing when he sees Thanos, because isn't it? I'm not sure how the hierarchy works, but was it Thanos had Ronan kill his planet and family, or was it Thanos?
I think so.
Yeah, I'd have to watch it again, but yeah, you know, there's the he does. Do you like the part where fucking it's just loads of references to Star-Lord wanting to be leader, but he's just not. Like he does the everyone halt, and they all just slowly walk past him. But he's just like, for fuck's sake.
Oh man! And when he made his voice deeper.
Oh god, that was so good.
Voice.
Are you mocking me? Are you mocking me? Oh my god, every time... I can't believe it worked for so long, but every time Thor called him Rabbit, I was laughing.
Yeah, Rabbit.
Rabbit?
One thing that I did find kind of weird was with reviving the star. Like that teeny tiny ship is strong enough to power the entire like fucking wheel that powers the star.
Oh, you're saying because Thor gets it going with the ship being propelled or whatever?
Yeah, but after being propelled, it stops, right? And then it's just like the rockets pushing it. Like after Thor gets a leg grip on the like metal thingy, the whole thing stops, and then it's just the thrusters of the ship that's powering.
I thought it was that he just had to jump start it and then it was good.
Yeah, I don't know. It just felt weird to me. That is like this teeny tiny thing.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. Like I said, man, this... You know, like with Civil War, when people would be like, this thing annoyed me, I'd be like, I've got several arguments prepared, but with this film I'm mostly just like, I have a lot of my own issues, actually.
Yeah.
But again, the biggest counter to any singular issue you can find with Infinity War for me is the fact that they actually managed to create this thing. This is insane. Just the fact that it exists alone is amazing to me.
Yeah, I think very few directors out there could have done a better job at this. This is, I mean, like we said, it's not flawless, but I would almost call it a masterpiece, man, because this is hard to do. Actually, difficult.
Let's have a look at what the definition of a masterpiece even is, because I think it applies, because masterpiece doesn't mean flawless, right?
I actually don't know what the definition is.
Yeah, there you go. A work of outstanding artistry, skill, or workmanship. I would definitely say this film is a outstanding piece of workmanship.
Yeah, definitely. Very few people can accomplish what they've done. I mean, I don't want to make the obvious reference, but hand this movie to Rian Johnson and
no.
Characters would not exist. You know, the Spider-Man dying scene would have probably been like him flying off into space or some shit.
Oh, it would have been... You're gonna piss off my chat now. Like, fucking Rian Johnson!
The Last Jedi was a terrible movie.
That was amazing. So, sorry, I caught one of the people there. Was... Because Hugo Weaving plays the Red Skull. He might not have been the voice of him in this, apparently.
Ross Marquand?
I was unaware that they would have changed it, but I'm interested to see what... Well, who they used instead, but I don't know. We'll probably find that out another time. If it is Ross Marquand, I mean.
No.
If that's his name.
Does it say that on IMDb?
I just checked Ross's thing, but it didn't show up. But then again, I looked for Red Skull and the entire cast and crew, and I couldn't find it, so it might not just be there. Because it's a very, very quick cameo, isn't it? So it might not make it onto lists just yet.
Oh, that's such a fucking cool thing.
What, Red Skull?
Yeah.
I mean, Alex was like, it's cool he's there, but like, what the fuck sent him there and why? And what is he gonna do? And why does he... You know, there's a lot of things you can ask. You can be like, so, Red Skull says, I was essentially sent here, cursed to not ever wield that which I, you know, ended up here for, or something like that. And you're like, okay. So, are you
he's
like...
some sort of weird ancient kind of fella now.
Yeah, he's like like a representative of the planet.
Yeah, and he talked as if he's been there for like hundreds of years. Like, as if time passes differently on that planet or something. Because he talked like, oh yeah, I remember when I had the thirst for the stones, blah, blah, blah. Like I had the like this and that, and I was like, "What the fuck? How long have you been here?" Captain America was like 10 years ago.
This is 77, right? It came out in 2011, but
yeah,
we got, you know, it's just like what is his deal there? And I know it's a moment of just you don't need to ask that, and you're like, I know, it's just weird, and you know we're not too far away from it. It's written well enough, right? But you're not too far away from him walking up to that thing and him going, the only way to get the stone is to throw Gamora down there. It's written in this tablet. It's like, wow, lucky you got to Gamora. It's like, yeah, because it makes, because this is the thing, right? He doesn't torture or hurt her at all. There is a definite angle there that he actually would never want to hurt her.
Yeah,
because the way he gets his information out of her is torturing a friend or someone she loves as opposed to her.
Yeah.
So I think it's consistent enough that Thanos would actually just keep her by his side because why not? It's just a little bit convenient. It's like, of course.
Yeah, but doesn't it's not related to this, but doesn't Red Skull say something like that he has become the messenger of this place because and he can only like retell like how to get the thing that he could never get himself.
Something like that, yeah. Like he's kind of like a curse.
Yeah, so he kind of implying that he doesn't love anything, that he's, you know, he has nothing to live for technically.
Mm-hmm.
He had his, you know, thirst for power, but even that has gone away for some reason.
Yeah, where were we? It's hard. I was gonna say we would be near-ish the scene with like Ross and those selection of people, and Ross has a line. He says something like, "The world is on fire." Which is enough to imply like they're not going to get in the way of people, but he does say arrest them to Thingy, and then he just says he just knocks the call off, which, you know, immediately after that they get involved in what is essentially World War III with the universe. So all I think I would have wanted was one scene with the government and what they're going to do in reaction to all this shit.
Yeah,
because
doesn't he say like, do you think everything is forgiven now because you know we have an invasion or something?
Yeah, which is why I was like, it's good that he said that, because it's trying to say the things that happen in Civil War do matter. Okay,
yeah,
we're not just going to throw them away just because we've got a new thing, and it's the one thing in the world that would actually say, yeah, you should throw away what happened in Civil War because what's happening is more important. 50% of the universe
it's kind
is
of it's kind of a bloated way, or bloated, not bloated, but like a same message, but in a bigger context, the same way Captain America or Iron Man has with Captain America, that it doesn't matter your personal indifferences because, you know, the world is literally about to, you know, get fucked.
And yeah, just a reminder for anybody who's recently just joined, we're gonna do questions and stuff once me and Fortea have sort of gone through the whole film. We're like 30% through or something like that. So keep your questions ready, and then we'll try and get to all of them. But it's probably going to be a floodgate opening because everyone's going to have a question by then. But I know that the main one's going to be, wait, so did you like it or not? I feel like the answer is yes. So I remember being confused, by the way, when they decide to split off in two teams. One goes to Titan, one goes to... No, sorry, not... Is it Titan? They go to Thanos' ship, Star-Lord and the rest. No, they go to Nowhere.
Nowhere and...
Sorry.
Or
this is why I would need to watch again, just to catch the bits of continuity and the bits that explain shit. This is why, by the way, the initial reviews suck. because this is why YMS said it doesn't make sense that they all end up in the airport in Civil War, and it's like, no, there's lines to explain that, you missed them.
Yeah.
And that's why I don't want to be too harsh to this film before I've really given it a strong chance. I'm probably going to see it again, just because, why the fuck not? It was a romp. And it's, like I said, so many just action-packed payoffs that you want to see. Also, Iron Man has like a million new abilities. It's just like morphing loads of shit all over him. I quite liked Thanos ripped his head off, and he's got the same shock face that he had when he held the gun in Civil War with Winter Soldier, and then he just reforms around him. I was like, oh, thank God.
Yeah, I thought that was cool. But from what I understood, like if he regenerates one part of the armor, another one is left open. That's why he doesn't have like his full gear when he forms the like knife.
I don't know about that. I would just assume that it can only regenerate so much in so much amount of time.
Yeah, then eventually.
I've always felt whenever he desuits, he does it in Age of Ultron. We talked about this in Age of Ultron when he's walking around the evil scientist people at the beginning. He says Sentry Mode. Sentry Mode's really cool, but I'm always like, don't take his suit off. What if somebody attacks you? Like, and in this, when he's in this, they get rid of the creepy dude with the torture device. He then desuits, and I was just like, what if something happened? And it's like, it just reforms anyway. It's like, okay, fine. But yeah, you do have to ask the question of why didn't Iron Man bring in an army? He always has the capability to do that.
Yeah.
And I know that they probably wouldn't do much against Thanos. He could have had him bring in an army, and Thanos just wipes them away with one thing. Oh, that was a cool moment. He brings a fucking moon down on the planet, or at least tried.
Dude, I was so certain that he was gonna like use it as the line, but I'm guessing it's coming in the future film where he's like, they literally threw a moon at me.
Yeah, like Iron Man could say that in terms of,
yeah.
Oh, you just reminded me when Thor is like, I've lost my whole family, and she's like, I've lost my whole family. It's like, yeah, it's a burden we share and understand. This Thor was like, my dad killed my mom, and then I killed my dad. I didn't lose an eye, so I guess you could say I handled it better.
I like when he's like right before that scene, he's like trying to like get between Thor and Gamora.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Like, oh, yeah, and you've got someone implies he's put on weight.
Massaging his muscles.
Yeah. They imply he's put on weight, and then he looks at Drax, and Drax just like nods his head.
And Drax comment on Thor is like a big muscly man.
Yeah, and he says, it's like a pirate and an angel had a baby.
Drax is so weirdly funny.
Like I said, I think the thing that was aced in this film is dialogue and character. They're just so good. And I don't know at this point if it's just because of how well developed everyone is, it's easy to write dialogue that's great for all of them or something, or it's the Russo brothers making it look easy.
I think it's the latter. I think the Russo brothers are just so good. Because I mean, if I've learned one thing from Civil War, is that they pay crap loads of attention. Like they do their homework, I guess. They just know everything. It seems like. Like, who would have thought to bring back Red Skull? Because it
almost feels like, dude, that they watched
disappears from Civil War.
They watched Captain America 1 like we did, like as a run up to writing this film. That they were like, oh, we could play with Red Skull. He is.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Do you want to? I was like, yeah. So something that was never answered. Is he dead or was he taken somewhere? It's like, oh, okay.
No.
And yeah, that's a good point as well. We don't know how much of this was improv, because it seems to be they've got a selection of actors that are really good at that too.
Yeah, I think of a lot of Tony's like one-liners. I think that was a lot of improv. I think a couple of them, like there's an obvious comment to make, and he kind of makes it, and then he like kind of makes it his own.
Oh fuck, the line from Tony, I just remembered. There's so many good lines in this. When Spider-Man's like, what's going on? He's like, a giant alien is trying to steal some jewelry off some wizards. It's like, oh god, thank you for that.
And then later on he's like, okay, that's a wizard. He's like, I'm on it.
That's the wizard, go get him.
Oh, it's so good.
But that's the thing, man. I was just like, oh, give me more. I want some more hours with these people. They're so great.
Yeah. But dude, this was a long It's like they did a Civil War, but they extended it. It's like a really long film, which I guess is why it's so exhausting.
It probably feels
to watch.
like the longest one. It might be in timeline as well, but it must feel like the longest one because there's just so much information to process, like we said.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's like physically a long film, but it's jam packed with stuff. So.
And this is the thing. I'm already confident that I can argue for why there's so much quality in this because there's just so many character references.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Obviously, plot takes a hit. I would never deny that, but characters first for me anyway. As long as you, it's the fucking bedrock of Marvel's endeavor, if you will. Which puts us. I'm trying to think of the actual different groups and then what scenes make them get from different places.
It's funny when Thor has his hammer and he comes down to Earth, and Bruce is like, "Oh, you guys are fucked now."
Oh yeah, definitely. I like that he's got Groot and Thingy with him as well, because it's just this. We're getting just bombarded with this, like, oh my god, that's where he's from. That's where he's from. He's together with them, and they're surprising all the known Avengers with these new people. And it's just like, oh.
I love the Thor line as well. Like, this is my new friend. Tree.
Tree.
Like, I am Groot. I am Captain America.
Yeah, he says, I am Steve Rogers. And that's something that you could easily comment on. You know how Civil War gets criticized? It's not a Captain America movie. It's an Avengers movie, and it's also an Iron Man movie. It's like that's not a legit criticism to me. But you can definitely call it those two and a Captain America movie. This movie, I would not call a Captain America movie at all. He's mainly there to fight. He doesn't really do a lot of anything else. And that's fine, because, you know, plenty of them can take a back seat so that others can have a front seat, if you will. But, you know what's funny? One of the people that gets a front seat for development, this would be people like Vision and Scarlet Witch, or... I mean, Iron Man and Spider-Man definitely have their moments, but Thanos is easily one of the people that gets a lot of focus in this as a person.
Thanos, like, he had like a legit storyline. Like, you got almost a backstory, like really the whole fucking deal. Like, why he's doing this. I mean, he's a fucking psychopath, but like the logic makes sense in his.
I was actually talking to this about Alex when I was running through it with him. I was like, I have to preface this with saying I don't agree with him, but what he says does make sense.
Exactly. Like he's a psychopath. Like, killing half of the universe's popularity is, you know, obviously not good. Yeah. But again, his logic does make sense. I'm like, I can see a psychopath having this train of thought.
He's and that's the thing, he's got quote unquote nothing to lose. He lost his entire planet thanks to this problem. So he's just gonna fucking fix it for the universe, and he doesn't care if people disagree with him because he's seen it happen. He knows the truth. And this is why his line, like I said, to Tony was great, because Tony does the exact same line of logic. He's like, I know what's best, other people are going to stop me, I'm going to barge right past them.
No.
And, like, he's
crazy, dude.
He says as well, the whole, we're going to cull 50% at random, so it's absolutely fair. I'm pretty sure he uses the line, he says that it's fair. It's not about, you don't get to survive.
Rich and poor.
Yeah.
It's just completely at random.
And he actually says to Gamora, your planet is thriving now, thanks to what I did. Also, like that, it's just like, he's seen his plan work. This is why he wants to do it.
Exactly. It's oh. Would you say that Thanos is the best Marvel villain?
I gotta be careful with it, because I want to hear what people have to criticize him for first. Because I haven't got much to really criticize.
Yeah, I want to be careful too, but as of now, just like on initial thought, like without having gone into too much depth, you know, with watching it again and stuff, I would probably call him my favorite villain.
He might be. Yeah. The thing is, I have a personal bias towards Zemo. I just love the purpose he serves, but Thanos is definitely much more of a character. There's no denying it.
Yeah, exactly.
And then who is it out of, besides those two, who are other suggestions? Would it be Vulture from Homecoming? He's probably in the higher tiers.
He's a decent, because I mean, the thing is, it's not that Marvel villains are boring, but they're just, you know, a villain and they serve their purpose. But Thanos, you know, you get a legit backstory and stuff. And the thing is, sometimes you get backstories for other villains as well, but it doesn't mean as much for some reason. Like with Hell, you got like the whole backstory with the Valkyries and how she like.
It's funny you say Hell when it's the film called it Hella, right? Like,
Oh yeah.
yeah, but we think it's Hell because of everything. You know what, Fortea? I really want to talk to you about God of War as well, but we're gonna have to shelve that for now.
Yeah, I'm not as far as you are.
No, of course, but I would let you guide the conversation, obviously.
Yeah, but you get the backstory with her there because you know that you have all the like that her and Odin fought together. She started like getting a little bit crazy. Odin noticed it, tried to stop it, wasn't successful. And you know, like you get a backstory with her, but somehow the Thanos backstory matters more. And I can't pinpoint why. I'm not a story writer, but it's weird that some villains, even though it seems like they got the same treatment and the same, I don't know, something.
I'm sorry, I just gotta quickly say, anybody who's suggesting Killmonger, have you seen my videos? I despise that villain, he's terrible. Sorry, it doesn't make any sense. He's created for no goddamn reason, gets everything done by luck, and then in the end he's really just a fucking homicidal idiot. He has no idea why his plan doesn't make any fucking sense. I'm gonna kill everyone and take over the world and rule it correctly. It's like, oh my god. How are you gonna do that? I'm gonna shoot everyone. It's like, I really wanted a line in Black Panther where they go, what about the Avengers? And he's just like, we gonna kill them. It's like, oh, alright then. You realize who Tony Stark is, and he's like, I don't care. And of course he would know, because he's like a, army member for his whole life in Earth, so he'd know.
Oh, another thing that the Russo brothers did a lot better than they did in Black Panther was the, guerrilla guys.
Oh, like, dude.
Like they had like war shouts.
This felt very much like Iron Man 2 to Civil War in terms of the scenes of Black... It's good that we saw Black Panther because we just got to be satisfied. For example, when they say, like, we need someone with great technology and a great scientific mind, and then Captain America's like, I know someone. And then it cuts to Wakanda's statue, panning around, it has the main theme from Black Panther, and I was just like, oh, that's good shit. That's just... I just like that.
Yeah, one thing that I thought... I don't know, it was like... meant to be like a cocky thing, where like a stab at the people who made the Black Panther, but they didn't have the Black Panther statue in actual Black Panther, did they? Like
I think they did. I can't be 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure they I don't know.
Because I remember seeing because that's the teaser in. Is it Civil War or is it Age of Ultron where they show Wakanda? You see,
Civil War.
It is Civil War, yeah.
Yeah.
Where you see like the Black Panther head. I don't remember seeing that in Black Panther, like the actual film, or maybe it's just like in the background somewhere.
I was gonna say I would guess yes, but I have no reference in my head for it. No. Like I can't think of a scene and go, oh, it was definitely there.
Yeah, exactly, and neither can I, which makes me believe that it's not actually there. But so just seeing it in this film, being like, "Hey guys, you forgot about this. This is the thing that we had in our film that you didn't want to bring in, but we're gonna bring it in and have your stuff in the background."
Yeah, did you like when it's so good. I'm sorry, I'm already reacting to it. When Doctor Strange's cloak, I think it pushes Tony because he's touching something. He turns around and he goes, I'm going to allow that. Because it's a little silence first, as if Tony's like, oh, fuck you up. No, okay.
Fuck you up. Yeah. That cloak actually, get his own little...
Yeah, though, did you catch the when Tony's trying to explain something to Spider-Man, I think, the cloak next to him is trying to reflect his emotional sort of delivery just with a collar.
Yeah.
It's like trying to match him. It's just like, they didn't even need to do that, but it's just like a neat detail.
Yeah.
Oh, what's the
Yeah.
line when he's trying to Hulk out right at the beginning, and he says, "You're embarrassing me." Doesn't he say like the dude with the hammer is coming towards them, and he says like, "Now's the time. Look at that thing," or something like that. It's just like I love the how Tony treats this shit.
Yeah, and I think Bruce Banner tells Hulk as well, like you know how you like to come out in the last second. This is the last second.
Yeah.
Come on. And then he does the weird thing with the attaching the hand to the guy.
I feel like the answer's not getting a Hulk movie, alright, but there's something to explore there, and I guess it's part 2 where Hulk is going to have the continuation of this sort of problem.
Well, yeah, I think what they were going for is that in the comics, Hulk and Bruce Banner are two different people. Who haven't read the comics, I thought that the Hulk was like the extreme anger, whatever version of Bruce Banner, but apparently it's two different people. And this was the first time we actually have like a communication kind of between the two. They kind of touched on it in Ragnarok, where it's like he won't let me back out if I let him,
Yeah.
Like that was like a kind of a hint towards what they were kind of reaching towards. But this is the first time we've actually get a concrete evidence that okay, it's actually two different people that are fighting.
Something I
that
didn't
have
mean
two
to
different opinions.
cut you off there, but like I was just thinking about because someone's just mentioned it, and I was just caught my eye. I heard a lot about Thanos' motivation in the threads on Reddit that were going over it was that he was trying to impress Death, which was hell. That's in the comics, but obviously, well, how do you feel about the new motivation for what he's doing? I prefer that than doing it for a girl.
Yeah, I think so too.
And
Definitely.
Thanos is a full-on character, man. There's no denying it.
Yeah, and just a random side thought: the CGI for Thanos was fucking unbelievably good. I thought he was so well made. It was like, oof.
There's a lot about
really,
how
really
Marvel
cool.
are rushing a lot of CGI, and that's part of a lot of their problems. But
Yeah,
I feel like they took their time with this one because it's important.
yeah,
They were like, no,
definitely. He was so well made. There was very few moments. Like I guess there were some where I was like, okay, that looks a little bit wonky, but they were very, very few, and I had to really look for it to actually become a thing. He was extremely well made. I thought it was really cool. I was really, really impressed by that.
And yeah, it'd be weird, as Bio just said, if Thanos was to kill Gamora in order to impress a girl. It wouldn't quite feel as... Because, like, what we get from Thanos is that this is his core purpose, as far as he's concerned, for the universe. There is no greater goal. And so, what is the second most important thing to him is apparently her. And he chose. And that's why it was made to be quite a moment instead of being a bit weird.
Yeah. I wonder if there's a director's cut of this film.
Yeah, another thing that's
version.
kind of an issue. You know when they go and see Thanos in Nowhere, and he turns Thingy into rubble, he turns the other one into like spaghetti or something.
Oh yeah.
It makes you think, like, I wish they hadn't done that, to be honest, because why the hell wasn't he doing that in the last few fights?
Yeah.
That's
and
such
also, how the fuck did they come back?
Yeah, that's another thing. The film is clearly just like...
died.
The film was just like, no, they can recover from this. And then Alex rightfully asked me, he was like, why wouldn't he just kill them? Why would he do that?
Yeah.
And then you all you have to work with, really, is that Thanos doesn't really want to kill people. Not random people. He's got a purpose behind all of the decimation that he commits. Oh, and someone used Drax said that his planet was decimated, and I was like, haha, high five. There's a couple of films, they used it in Captain America, right? And we were like, woohoo, decimate can be used this way, fuck you. Get validation from all my films. Yeah, what did you think of the fake out for when she thought she killed Thanos?
That was actually interesting. I was like, wait, I didn't think he was dead. I thought he was unconscious. Because he got like a knife to the throat, and I thought that I don't think that's gonna kill him. And then he had like a knife in the stomach, which we all know in movie doesn't equals a death.
By the way, this is why, thinking about it, I think Thanos thinks he's a good guy, while I don't think that anyone in the First Order thinks they're a good guy in Star Wars because of the shit that they do.
Yeah.
But I think Thanos actually is convinced that what he's doing is right, and it's necessary for the world to have the least amount of suffering, and it's so interesting to think about.
Yeah. I mean, he does have the line where he says, I'm the only one who sees the truth. Or something.
No, he says, she says, like, you think you know what's... You think you know everything? Or he says, I'm the only one who can.
Yeah.
Something like that.
So, like, he actually, like, says that, like, he's the only one. Like, almost like he's the chosen one or something.
But yeah, as soon as I'd finished watching Doctor Strange, by the way, I was convinced that he was going to get nerfed in this film, and I feel like he was.
Yeah.
I said to Alex, why wouldn't he just lock Thanos in an infinite time loop like he did with, the fuck ever else the name of the thing was? And all he needed to do was say, Thanos, take off the glove and give it to me, or else you're going to stay in this loop forever.
Yeah, exactly.
And you could have a throwaway line, like, you can't depower someone with a gem if they're holding gems themselves. They don't work on each other or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Which, to be honest, I really think they should have done that, because it would cancel out so many different questions I have about why Strange isn't able to do random shit.
Yeah.
Because I love the idea that if you trap Strange as a surprise, you know, his arms, he can't cast. Like, he needs his hands to cast. And I was just like, that's great. That's a great weakness to have for such a powerful character. But they don't even... It's just like, he has plenty of opportunities to use his fucking time stone, he doesn't do it. And the problem is, Thanos points it out as well, so they knew... Like, Thanos is like,
well,
your mistake was not using the power, you know, yourself, or whatever. And I don't remember there being a big focus on the idea that they really need to not use it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think Thanos' line regarding that, I think, is more that he knows that the one he's carrying is a fake. He's like, you have a lot of tricks, wizard, but you're not using your greatest one. And then he, like, just grabs the thing and breaks it, like... It's
yeah, that dead man's lock doesn't fucking do much for Thanos, does it?
Yeah, but it doesn't, because it's not the real stone in there.
Oh yeah, but it was still... That dude was trying to break into it before, right?
Yeah.
And he couldn't, but Thanos could just crush it in his hand. I suppose that makes sense, because he's so powerful.
No.
And he's got the gems and everything. I don't know, I was just like, oh, okay. Wasn't as protected as once thought, I suppose.
Or maybe they hid the stone after, which maybe would have like taken away the thing.
Protection. That's a good point. He might have had the stone in there and then decided to take it out and do a little magic-y shit on it.
Yeah, because the first time they actually touch on him not having it is when Thanos actually says it. Like,
I'm assuming he must have done it after you looking at all the possibilities and.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's another thing that someone, the guy sitting next to me, like I said, was noisy. You know when he says, out of all the possibilities, how many do we win? Before he answered, the guy next to me went, it's gonna be one. I was like, can you fuck off? Just let the film do its thing, for fuck's sake.
I was like, for a couple of split seconds there, I was like, wait, is he gonna say like one, or is he gonna say like, 5? So, you know, like...
Make it seem a bit more realistic.
5 or 6, yeah. If he said 5 or 6, it would still be like a percentage that's ridiculously low. But if he said 1, then it's just like, okay, it's dramatic. They're going for drama. But
it worked with Dormammu because Dormammu didn't know about time, and Thanos' reality did have time, so he could counter it somehow. I probably need to watch Doctor Strange again to see what the specifics of that is.
I'm not you could sure. Probably have an entire stream about that alone, because again... the whole time / reality / whatever the fuck the Infinity Stones do is just, it's infinite. And I think if you delve into it too much, and it's not a
I agree
apology for the film.
Well, I think we should just accept it. It's a flaw, but it's definitely one that's gonna distract you about as much as the Force in Star Wars.
Exactly.
You have to get past these things.
Yeah, it's a thing in the universe, and we can't really judge it too much because it's a difficult topic to handle, basically. And I think what they did is probably, one of the better things they could have done.
Yeah. Oh, and why am I streaming so much? I just wanted to complete God of War, and I also want to talk about Infinity War. So, as soon as we've done with both of those, the streaming amount will go back down while I'm writing. So don't panic. A lot of people are like, Mole's turned into a streamer now. And I'm like, guys, I streamed 18 playthroughs of Dark Souls 2. It's just that I wasn't around in terms of popularity then, so this is nothing new. So yeah, we actually got to have, I think this is something I consider a correction for Ragnarok in a way, alright, I'm not saying it's strict, in a way, where Thor gets to basically share how he feels about everyone being taken away from him.
No.
I feel like that was important, I feel like that's something fans would have wanted. And Rocket was quite...
Rocket, yeah.
Yeah, and like he's like, I've got nothing left to lose, and then Rocket's like, I got stuff to lose, but okay. It was good shit.
What do you think about Peter Dinklage?
It's a bit of a strange choice, and like I said, it
I
felt...
thought so too.
I think it works.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why, but I just had not an issue with him, but I can't really come up with a better like choice they could have made. But there was something about him that I didn't think fit here. And I can't really tell you why. It just felt a little bit off.
I just thought it just kind of, I don't know, it kind of came out of nowhere. It's like, that's where you have to go to make something that can kill Thanos. It's like, oh,
no,
all right. It just would have been cool if this place had a bit more establishment in another film. That's all I want, really, to fix it up.
Yeah.
And I like the idea that he says that's where my hammer was born, or something like that, right? I'm pretty sure he says something like that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that is the thing.
I'm sure. It's just that you have the question, right? It's like, why the fuck wouldn't you have just made that other thing? It's way better.
Yeah.
And I was also surprised that...
I
was just gonna say, I was surprised that Groot's roots were actually able to hold it together. You wouldn't have thought that, really. It is, you know, wood after all, and as much as you can have a wooden grip, I'm just saying.
Groot does.
Yeah, you know when it showed him realizing, he was like looking at it away from his game, I was legitimately sitting there thinking, what's about to happen? What is he realizing?
Yeah.
Thanos wouldn't notice the loop, Dormammu did because he didn't have time in his reality. Fair enough. And yeah, we've already talked about how I think that Strange gave away the time thing on purpose. I genuinely do think that.
Oh yeah, I think so too. I think that the one scenario where they win, he has to kill them for them to do something.
And I'm guessing he put up a fight because he wanted to look as if it was something he didn't want to happen.
Yeah.
That would just be my assumption.
I mean, the last line he has before he dies is kind of, you know, telling to that this is like a part of the plan. This was the only way. I mean, that kind of tells me that in the bajillion different scenarios that he went into the future and saw, that the one where they actually quote unquote win, they have to lose first and then with some magical shit revert what the Infinity Gauntlet did.
Oh, that's a good point. Sorry, that just corrects my issue with it. Steel just said the axe head probably enchants the handle in some way, shape, or form. You could definitely argue for that, and you'd be like, yeah, okay.
No.
And also, it is kind of an issue that in Avengers, we see Thanos put the glove on, so he has it there, and these dwarven people were apparently wiped out, the sun went dark in their refinery or thing to make this gauntlet, and they're supposed to be quite close with the Asgardians, and the Asgardians were only wiped out, what, like 5 years later, so...
Oh yeah, that's true.
If I feel like they should have known about it.
Yeah.
So that's something to think about.
An interesting side note for future Thor appearances in the films is that they mentioned that the new hammer has... Well, they do it in the film, right? He has the ability to summon the Bifrost.
Yeah, which will... The point, you know, Asgard's gone, so we need a new version of that, don't we?
Yeah, exactly. So...
He says theoretically it could do it, and it's just like, oh, so it will.
Yeah, I mean, he does do it. Like, that's how he arrives on...
Did you like, when Doctor Strange, like, I think Iron Man is talking about doing something about something, and then Doctor Strange, like, does a huge thing, and, like, corrects everything, and then he's just, like, has, like, you know, a smug face, and Iron Man's like, pfft. Because like I don't even know what I can't tell you what he does. He does like a dome of that energy stuff, and it just like does something.
Oh yeah, it was some sort of force field or something, and then he just looks at him and winks.
But can I have a suggestion for my favorite line in the whole film?
Sure.
Where is Gamora? Who is Gamora? Why is Gamora? I fucking lost my shit when he said that. It doesn't make any fucking sense, and it's the funniest thing I've ever heard. I was just like, really? Why is Gamora? What else? Oh yeah, of course. He says something like, I'm gonna blow his head off, and he's like, okay, fine, you blow his head off, I blow his head off. And then Drax is like, just kill him. This doesn't matter, I could take it. And then Iron Man's like, no you can't. And then Doctor Strange's like, no, you can't.
I actually don't know what my favorite line in the film was. There was a couple of funny ones. I have to see it again, like to actually like acknowledge.
I mean, I have to be honest, like that's bits. Top tier. Why is Gamora?
Yeah,
so funny.
Drax was really funny in this film. Oh yeah, after he stands still, and then Mantis comes up. Hi, Drax. Like, oh, damn it.
I move so slowly, you can't see me.
No, we can see you, Drax. Hi, Drax. Oh, damn it.
I was thinking, I'm pretty sure we've gone through most now, except for the sort of end game, if you will.
No.
Which would be some of the stuff we've touched on already, but
Oh yeah, I don't know if we mentioned this, but I do like the fact that they kept the goofy Thor, you know?
Yeah, and yeah, he's still alive and kicking. He's not serious.
Yeah.
And, you know, like I said, I'll happily admit it's not smooth enough to be considered anything but a retcon from 1 and 2 to 3.
Yeah.
But they've maintained it, and I think it's just because that works. I saw someone say really early in the chat that something like they ruined Thor in the third one, and I'd just be like, nah, they fixed him. Sorry. Yeah. It's fucking fixed. And don't be expecting fucking a Norse representation, because you're not going to get it. It's just not going to happen. It is the farthest thing from Norse that you'll probably ever get, but yeah.
By the way, a random thing that I'm not sure if it was a reference to the Black Panther film, but you know, there's like a scene. I'm not actually sure what happens in the scene, but there's like a scene where you see like that standalone tree, and I think that's like the same tree that they had in the Vision, where there's like panthers and stuff climbing the tree.
Maybe, but I'm assuming that's in some kind of spirit realm thing, you know.
Yeah, but like again, it's probably just a reference to that scene in the spirit realm, because it was like a almost desert thingy, and then it was like one tree, and it had kind of the same shape from what I can remember. I've only seen Black Panther once, I think. Did I see it twice? No, I don't think so.
Yeah. I did like the line as well, by the way, when they first launch an attack on Wakanda, it slams into the dome and just explodes, and then it just cuts down to Winter Soldier, and he's like, I love this place. It's like, yeah, I'd probably say that too. Oh, dude, when Thingy is like, wait, dude, do we bow? And he's like, he's a king, of course you bow. And then he does it, and he's like, what are you doing, man? It's like, fuck you.
We don't do that here.
It's such a great, because it's just, I genuinely felt like that's something that would happen in real life. You'd be like, oh fuck, don't bow. That's just, don't do that.
Yeah.
It's really awkward. It's like, fucking hell.
Yeah. I can totally see that.
Yeah, I actually said to Wolf, the one thing I was really hoping not to see, but I just know it's going to happen, and it did happen, was that they go to Wakanda, they set up on the bench, and fucking Tech Girl from Black Panther, because, you know, despite being 2 years old, she's the smartest thing on the planet, says something like, why didn't you do XYZ? And then about Tony and Bruce Banner's work, and he's speechless. He's like, oh, I guess we did that. I was just like, ah.
We didn't think of it. He comes back with, and just like, ah.
And if Tony was in that scene, he probably... I honestly think, for continuity reasons, they would have had him be like, we did it because of this. And then she'd be like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Or she would say that, and then he would come back with, how old are you?
Yeah, exactly.
But he was just like,
they would have had some sort of, just annoyed, like, cocky line.
Yeah, and Wolf was just like, yeah, they'll have that line. I was like, I know they will, and I don't want to see it. I don't want them to be like, she's the smartest character, okay? Not the two scientists that are, like, fucking over 50 years old nearly, and have both created massive power for themselves based on their intelligence. It's like, yeah, okay.
In a way, isn't it kind of, the directors almost making fun of them, being like, okay, so you wanted someone who's smarter than Tony, Jesus. Like, so they kind of had to throw the line in there just because.
Yeah, this is the one thing that I can't say no to. If someone said, but in continuity she would be smarter because she's got access to way better technology than them and she knows all of it inside out. And it's like, yeah, fine. And, they could be put in that position where they're like, we can't have them being smarter than her because that doesn't quite pan out, does it? And I think you could probably get away with it either way. It's just that, yeah. I knew they would have that line. So yeah, we pretty much covered Thanos, right? Just how impressive he was in terms of Marvel trying really hard to counter the things that keep getting said about them, namely that they have terrible villains.
Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised. I did not expect that at all. I thought he was just going to be the big baddie that scared the crap out of everyone. Oh, by the way, that was something that I thought was really cool as well. They established pretty much from the beginning that even with just like 1 or 2 Infinity Stones, he is tremendously powerful. And they just, have to stop him at all costs, even if it means,
I was really surprised he actually managed to complete the gauntlet. I thought we were going to see him prevented from that, despite the fact that I also knew we were going to get the click, so my brain was just conflicting on that, I guess.
No. Yeah, again, my friend thought that the movie was going to end with him, like, snapping his fingers.
Which we had that close, but we had a couple of payoff scenes for just, like, for example, Black Panther's main bodyguard, like, panicked like shit as well. And it's just like... Yeah, again, it was so weird to me that Samuel Jackson...
I'm not sure what I would have preferred there.
What, like cutting it off or having those... I think it's worth taking those scenes, giving us that. You can't have those scenes at the beginning of the next film, can you? It would be weird.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, I think it's nicer to the audience, like, as in, like, kinder to the audience to have the extra scenes.
Yeah, just see our characters saying goodbye to some of these people.
Yeah, because leaving it with the snap would have made people go crazy. I know I would have. I would have been like, okay, so wait, does everyone die now? If so, who dies?
Yeah. I thought they were actually at first, because he did the click, I thought it was going to be instant. So when I was seeing all of our heroes still alive, I was like, oh, that's lucky for them. They all happened to be on the right side of that 50%.
I actually didn't realize that it was a click at first, because, like, I think, weirdly enough, I think I blinked at the exact same time as he did it, so I just heard, like, an explosion thing. Because when I opened my eyes again, it was, like, just bright everywhere. So I actually didn't realize right away that he snapped his fingers, and then it was like when he came out of the vision and people started dying, I was like, oh, okay, so that was probably what just happened.
I found it interesting as well that we got someone pointed out, we did talk about it, it's just that it's a really good establishment of power when Thanos just knocks out the Hulk.
Yeah, definitely.
Even though Captain America managed to pause him for a bit.
Yeah.
Not, completely.
I thought that was a pretty, cool misdirection in the trailer, where he's like, "Oh wait, is Captain America actually gonna stand up to Thanos?" And then he's just like, "Nope."
Honestly, the impression I had gotten from it was that was gonna be maybe the ultimate showdown, and that Cap was gonna die.
Oh yeah, I thought so too.
But I did actually feel it would be a bit weird to kill him because there's been no focus on him.
Yeah. Again, he didn't really get much room in this film. He was who he is programmed to be.
I'm okay with that.
Ultimate good
like
guy.
Like I said, he was more of he was just Cap in this. He wasn't Steve Rogers having a bit of a development. And like I said, I'm fine with it. Civil War, it was focused on Iron Man and Cap. It left everyone else to just be there and be themselves.
No.
No real changes, and that's what he was in this film because he's had his change, and I think. I told you this before we saw the movie, and it's the same for after. I can't wait to see him and Tony meet up in part 2, I imagine it'll be.
Yeah, because they actually never did in this one, right?
No, they managed to stay just out of reach of everyone. And
yeah, because Thanos was the one teleporting everywhere. So he had separate fights with separate people on separate fucking planets.
And it is really interesting how everybody was on the board moving around. Because, like, the Guardians were split in half, the Avengers were split completely all over the place. Like, so you just had different people meeting, and that's the thing, right? We want to see all these people meet each other and get funny lines and stuff, but obviously you're limited by 2.5 hours, so
yeah,
just got to do what you can. And they did.
One thing that I was annoyed by, but that like it makes sense, but it's kind of getting old when movies does this, where they have Thanos trapped or about to pull off his gauntlet, and then Star-Lord is like, "Oh my God, Gamora, I have to punch you right now."
You didn't like it, did you?
I can't. No, I didn't.
So for one, there's one point that could negate it, and that is that's all by design. Even Strange is okay with that happening, so it doesn't necessarily have a huge thing. But I don't know. I think it makes sense.
I mean, the thing is, I'm not saying that it doesn't make sense, but I just don't like it when, you know, we're about to win, and then, you know, you acting recklessly makes us like the thing is, like, you have like a downward spiral. It's like everything goes to shit, and then you have like an ounce of goodness, and it's like, dude, if we actually get this like thing off him, we might be able to kill him like right now. And there's like,
the one thing I will say to you is,
and then it's like just steep dive again.
Something I love and then something I don't like. So something I love is that Iron Man sees the reaction well before it happens because he's been through it himself. That's great as a detail. What's bad as a detail is that Iron Man should have blasted him the fuck away.
Yeah.
Give up on pulling for a second, because it is, I'll be honest, my heart was like going boom, 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 boom when they were pulling that glove, because I was like, if they pull that off him, this is a win.
Yeah.
And they get so close, he literally grabs the glove back from Spider-Man.
Yeah. But again, I really didn't like that, because I won't say that I saw it coming, but I was like, I really hope they don't do this, and then they did that, and I was like, So I don't know. I wouldn't say that I've seen it in a lot of films, but I have seen it in other films. I can't name them.
I know what you mean, but, you know, you've seen it in Civil War. That's a thing that happens in Civil War as well. It's not that there's something hugely important was about to happen. They're about to capture Zemo, but Iron Man just loses his cool, which I think could very well have happened if you swap it all around, if you know what I mean. Put all the pieces in different places. Because Gamora was everything to Star-Lord. They've had their development, and they had their scene as well, where he like...
Oh yeah, definitely. Again, I'm not arguing that it doesn't make sense or that it's a bad thing. It's just like something that me personally think is annoying, because I guess I think
I see where you're coming. Like, objectively, makes sense, lines up, but you feel like, well, gosh, that's inconvenient.
Yeah, that it just happened to go badly because, you know, all of this thing.
I did like
these things.
Again, this is the more I'm making an objective argument now, so you don't have to like change your mind or anything, but the fact that she puts him in the sleep state, and it's really hard because he's so powerful, but he also is like, he's kind of drunk, if you will, and that's why they get the information out of him. I felt that made a lot of sense, because I did not think that Thanos would ever gloat about killing her. That would be bad. He shouldn't be doing that. You know, like someone go, like, for example, the mouth of Sauron is like, Frodo screamed for his life, and they're all just like, oh, you son of a bitch. But
that scene was probably like the closest thing to like an Avengers versus Thanos scene we got, almost, because
they all have their own way.
Arm. Yeah, you have Drax and Spider-Man holding down the right arm.
I thought no, Drax is on his right leg.
Yeah.
Doctor Strange is on his right arm. Iron Man and Spider-Man are on the left arm.
Yeah.
I can't remember who else is doing what else.
Well, Mantis is on his head.
Also, Thor talks while in space. It's not something that I'm bothered by, because it's whatever, but it's still a definite... That's the first time I think they've broken sort of space laws. They've probably broken them before, but that's still a very blatant one.
He's also out of breath in space. When he is, preparing to do the magnificent stunt he did, he's like... Okay, let's go. I don't
know if anyone has a counter for that, because it's just like, that just seems like when they were writing it, they were like, oh fuck it, he's a god.
Yeah.
And I'm actually okay with that. Oh fuck it, he's a god that he can breathe in space. It's not a hugely beneficial thing. It just would have been nice to have, let's call it, a setup.
Yeah.
I know he survived in space, and that's why I ended up with the Guardians. Just something, a throwaway line, like, or Loki ends up, when Loki talked to Thingy in Avengers, they could have been like, Asgardians can breathe in space. I know it's just like, what? But it just works.
I mean, they even bring in space law twice. Like, Spider-Man stops being able to breathe,
Yeah.
and they shoot out one of the bad guys with the whole, vacuum thingy.
True.
So, like, they even cover
obviously,
the space
Peter
laws
is a
twice.
human, so that's fine. But Space Alien Man,
Yeah.
they care about making it that he can die, but I guess gods can't die. Also, I did like when Thor sees Steve, and he's like, you've copied my beard.
Yeah.
That's the thing. We don't even get time for them to like touch base and just be friends. And it's funny that that's something that I actually want to see. I just want to see them all sit down and talk to each other.
Maybe we'll get it after they've killed Thanos.
Yeah, because we didn't get what you would call the aftermath in this film, or the dealing. Because I was half expecting Thanos to be dead, and then everyone walk around recovering and talking about how are we going to get them back, like what happened, blah, 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 and then it ends. But no, everyone dies, and then it cuts to the credits. It's just like, oh fuck.
Yeah. I really love the fight scene on what is it, Titan? The planet was called.
Yeah.
Because I think they have a fight, and then they cut to another scene, and then they continue the fight, and that's when they manage to lock him down, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then
and it's interesting because Peter Quill says, "See, this was my plan," like as if it would work. And I wonder if how that works in with Strange's. Maybe Strange was like testing all the things, and like this is the one where if Peter suggests the plan, you just need to do this, 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 and make this happen.
No.
Because I really do think it explains it if like why Doctor Strange didn't do more to protect the stone. I think it just makes a lot of sense if this is all a part of his plan.
No, definitely.
And it would make sense that he could look into the future.
I'm almost positive that it is because of his last line before he dies. This is the only way. I mean, obviously there is a plan and he's following it.
But I gotta be honest, every time they gave more sort of explanation for Thanos' motivation, goals, history, whatever, every time there was another thing, I was like, wow, even more, sweet. It's like, we already had enough, to be honest. But when he's like, let me guess, this is your home? And then he uses the Reality Stone to show him what Titan was before it like, got ruined by its own people or whatever. It's just like, huh. He's got his reasons.
I wouldn't call it simple, but it's like the actual idea, like his motivation, isn't really that difficult, Yeah,
it's not complicated, but it's, I think the word would be well-reasoned.
Yeah.
Oh, do you remember the bit as well where he sends, like, a horde of bats after Iron Man? And Iron Man's like, whoa! It's like, I would have thought you could just, like, spin around and use flames to be fine.
Oh yeah, that fucking flame move was sick, too.
And that's the thing, Thanos like collected it all and then fired it back. But I would be sitting there thinking, Thanos, why aren't you turning him into bubbles or whatever? You have your opportunity. And that's the thing, he's so powerful that I just don't think you could actually make this efficient, aside from if they establish a rule where he can only use one stone at a time without
I thought that was the thing. I really thought that was the thing, and I was really excited because I thought they were going to come up with like a really clever strategy on, when he uses this stone, this is how we counteract that. If he goes over to this stone, then this is how we counteract that. Like, I really thought that was what they were going for. But then I'm not really sure, because I did see all of the stones light up when he was going to kill Tony. But it could, I guess, still be a thing. Maybe that was like a killing strike move where he's just like, yep, I'm just gonna kill you with pure power now by activating all of the stones. Because I really thought that would have been a really cool angle.
The film does do its job to explain to you that Thanos is not some kind of supercomputer. He is a guy.
Yeah.
And so if you had the glove and you were like, there's all these heroes around me, right, so I'm probably going to start with my most OP move, which is turning them into goop. And then Spider-Man fucking, slings him thing into your hand so you can't close, and you're like, oh, for fuck's sake. And then someone portal comes behind you and someone slaps you on the back of the head, and you're like, wait, what? And then Doctor Strange does his magic on you, and you're like, hey, fuck, nah. And then, and I picture that being realistic, but there were genuine moments in the film where I'm just like, but he could have done it there. Why didn't he do it there? Wouldn't he be thinking of the... I don't know.
Also, couldn't Strange just portal him into space?
Strange cuts that guy's arm off with the portal, and it makes me wonder, could you do that to Thanos? Could you cut him in half?
Yeah, I mean,
You don't try. This is why this film is not flawless, by the way.
yeah,
Still great. I'd probably be comfortable using the word great.
yeah. I'm like, the thing is, I went into this with huge expectations, right?
Yeah, we both
And I
did.
would, yeah, I would definitely like say that I'm not disappointed. Again, not flawless, but not disappointed.
Yeah, I was expecting. I guess I could say I was expecting more, but I'm still absolutely happy with it.
Yeah, I'm really happy with this. I guess I'm more relieved that it didn't suck. Like,
Yeah, no,
think
I'm definitely on that team right now. I'm like, thank God we got this instead of like a mess.
Yeah, and I think
Just compare
that's
this to
why
Justice League, dude.
Yeah, I think that's where most of the joy comes from right now. But the longer time passes, the more the joy is going to be of the actual character writing.
Yeah, and I already know this film is gonna like it'll be in my if you had tiers for like Marvel films, it's top tier for me. It may be on the mid or lower area of top tier, but it's absolutely top tier because of just how much of a feat they've managed to accomplish is pretty much what I have to say about that. But is the gauntlet destroyed, do you think, from what you saw?
Nope. I think like, because what he did, right, he killed half of the universe, which requires tremendous power, and therefore, because you can see his arm is like all fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
But he does use the teleport to get out of there.
Meaning that he still has a power in it.
Yeah, that the gauntlet is still functional.
Well, so then the other question is, you don't think he's dead, right?
I don't think he's dead, but I do believe him when he says that, because someone asked, and then what? Like, after you've done all this, and then what? And he says, well, then I
go to the sunset.
Rest. Yeah. Then I'm like, I'm gonna.
Oh, are you saying like he's done his
rest.
job, so he's happy to just be out of it now?
Yeah, and I do believe him when he says that, but I think that all of the people, like I said before, all of the people who died by the gauntlet are gonna come back by some sort of restoration, go back in time, kind of magic things. And that's going to bring Thanos back as well, because he's going to be, pissed, obviously, because his work got undone. Mm-hmm. And then they're going to have a second fight, and that's where Doctor Strange's plan comes into action, that they had to die to win in the end. Like, they had to die, get resurrected, and then win.
That was interesting. The shot in the trailer that it ends with with Cap and a couple of other people running, it's like, that never happens in the film. I mean, right. The event itself definitely doesn't, because the Hulk doesn't even turn up in this film. Well, aside from the beginning. So they did a good job with the trailer. They really did.
Yeah.
Compare that, by the way. Fucking, we got all the trailers. Like, we saw the Han Solo film and the Jurassic World 2 film. Alex hadn't seen either trailer, and he was just like, "Oh my god, both of those look awful." And I was like, "I know." But like,
I just, oh my god, start already.
Infinity War's trailer was just a hype monster.
Yeah. So I'm so impressed with what they did with Thanos, man. Like, he's just been like a face. He didn't really have anything to go on. Really.
A common criticism is this is something I didn't quite understand as well. I can't remember who was ranting, but I remember it was somebody, and they were like, why would anyone care about Thanos in this film when we've got nothing to really work with? He's just some villain. It's like he's been given no development, so why will we care about him in this film? And I remember thinking to myself, I was like, do you just... Star Wars, why did you care about Vader when we've had no development of him before he came on the screen? It's like, come on, there are plenty of ways to nail a villain without having history before seeing it.
Mm-hmm.
And if the argument is, yeah, but there should be because this is the 18th film or whatever, I'd just be like, no, fuck off. They can do it in the film, and they did. That's the amazing thing. They did it.
Yeah, they did it so wonderfully. the first line Groot has was like, "I'm Groot." I was like, "Whoa,
what's your language?" Teenage Groot, yeah. And it was nice that he got to fight as well instead of being just teenage and he has to be put in safety or something.
Dude, you know the scene where he walks around, like right before Thor gets his hammer, and they just walk around the wasteland of the star, and you have that like game noise, and it was like doo 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 doo. Like I think it's when he dies or something, and that like kept like being all around me, and I was like, who the fuck is walking around with their phone in the theater right now? And I'm like, oh, it's the film. It was so annoying because I heard it behind me, and I was like, oh, fuck, turn off your phone, dickhead. And then I heard it again. I was like, come on, dude. And then I heard it in front of me, and I was like, wait, what?
I'm trying to think. I think we pretty much covered it. Now, aside from maybe if you want to talk more about the ending, being the
the last scene.
So many characters got nuked that that it's impossible for it to not be undone. Because can you imagine if they committed to this, how many moneymakers they've just killed?
Yeah.
But
yeah, the Spider-Man scene, dude. Oh, it's such a simple premise, like, oh, a kid, you know, get her of death, but they executed it so well. The fact that he like falls into Tony's arms and he just like scared to shit. So well made, so well made, and it really just like hits you right in the heart.
And I really liked, I gotta admit, I fucking adored the 1v1 Iron Man has with Thanos. He does everything he can, and it's such a like, come on Tony, you got this. It's like, oh, he's losing, he's so losing this.
Yeah.
Just throws everything he's got, and this is just a guy from Earth with his technology. Like, how cool is that?
And also, like, to build on that, it's kind of cool. Maybe, I'm not saying that it is, but it could be like a reoccurring thing in the film that one-on-ones they lose like without a chance, but when they play as a team, that's when they win.
I'd say that's one of the core things of all of the comic book things.
Yeah, because like you said, Iron Man unleashes everything he has and he still gets beaten. Hulk does the Hulk, does the Hulk stuff, and gets
Thor does a pretty good job on his own.
Yeah, that's the only one that countered.
Doesn't stop him though, because Thor's not got the best brain out of the bunch.
Yeah. So I think what it's gonna come down to, if they have another fight with Thanos, which I'm guessing they're gonna with the whole resurrection thing, is that it's gonna be like a team effort. Obviously, it's gonna be like the big fucking fight in the end.
That's another thing. Like, how up for the next film are you?
I'm so fucking stoked, dude.
I was gonna say it's gonna be the whole circuit again. I'm gonna be super hyped for the next one. Dude, it's 1 year. They're probably gonna bring out the trailer relatively soon.
Oh shit, dude. That's true.
And as soon as it's released, it's at the top of Reddit. I'll be like,
yeah.
Gimme.
And it's interesting because I'm extremely hyped about the sequel for this, but I don't really have any strong emotions towards Captain Marvel.
I don't. Why would you?
I mean, I have no investment. I have no idea who it is. I never read the comics. And
of course.
Really nothing else.
That's the thing. We're going to be entering into all the people we've never fucking heard of soon.
Yeah,
because
like
they're running out of the iconic ones.
Yeah, and so yeah, I was kind of disappointed because me and my friends were like actually discussing like during the credits because the lights turned on and a couple of people exited. And we were like, okay, so do you think there's gonna be an end credit? Because we were shocked that there wasn't a like pre-credit scene. There's usually one between the like animations and the actual like black credits, but there wasn't one. We were like, ooh, maybe they're like going for like they're not gonna do it because they know that everyone is expecting it, like that kind of thing. But then we were like, no, I think they're gonna do it in the end. And we were like, okay, so what's going to be about? And I said that it might have been Ant-Man because he wasn't in this film. So maybe he's going to get like a calling and be like, oh shit, we need you, Ant-Man. And then someone mentioned that it might be Captain Marvel. I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense because she has a movie coming up. And it was. So yeah, I was kind of disappointed. I would have like to have some sort of
what was with the scene where Thanos ended up in like a dream world?
I don't get that. I think that was just to establish that Gamora meant a lot to him.
I'm okay with that. Again, characters are served in this film probably a bit to detriment the plot a little bit.
Yeah.
but I wonder what that was supposed to be in terms of continuity. It's just like, huh?
Yeah, because he seemed kind of confused that they didn't have the axe in him anymore. So it was like he was actually teleported instead of being in a dream world.
Yeah, because then he comes right back to Thor, and it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that was kind of weird. Again, it was probably just more a character building thing than was anything else.
And yes, we do have Ant-Man and the Wasp coming up, but I don't think that's going to have much of anything of a reference to all this.
No. Well, Ant-Man is going to be in the next one.
Oh, I'm sure, but you do have, what was it called? The whole line. There's a line in this film that's like, "Where's Ant-Man and Thingy?" And they do mention house arrest, and that's the premise for Ant-Man, isn't it? He's under house arrest.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think that they'll have their own problems to deal with, and there's probably going to be a stinger or a reference to this, one or two. Because I think the premise is that because he helped Captain America in Civil War, that's why he's in trouble in Ant-Man and the Wasp. Which is great for continuity.
Yeah, definitely makes sense. I do like that it was the Mantis that kind of brought out the Gamora death.
Yeah, that's why it's really good use of established stuff, and I think the Russo brothers are so damn good at that. They've got,
yeah, exactly.
It's like they make a million notes or some shit.
Yeah, it really is. It's like they've seen every movie like 10 times, and they've taken down, okay, so this happened, we can use that, this happened, we can use that. And then just do that a bajillion times for different films. It's just really cool to watch. Because when you discuss it like we are right now, it's so satisfying to see a couple of directors care so much about the film that they make references to something that came out like 8 years ago.
Yeah, you know what really gets it to that position as well is that the more we talk about all the details and stuff that we really adore, you get the impression it's like, oh, so it wasn't just about making money, or that's a good result of doing this kind of stuff. But we get the impression they really care.
Yeah, because the thing that really gets me the impression that they really care is that they could have just as well just skipped a couple of these things. They could have like had like, I don't know, they could have had the end result be the same, but have a different path to get there. And in that path they could have skipped out a bunch of the like tiny character details that they keep bringing in from the other films. But the fact that they actually like choose to bring in all the tiny character details really shows to me that they do care a lot about the whole thing.
Yeah, to bring it back to the scene that's probably one of my favorites as well, just the strange, all the people that he just met with the Guardians, aside from Nebula, who's someone who arrived and Tony's barely even spoken to, all die in front of him. Like, it's super powerful, and this is actually, funnily enough, covered by Passion of the Nerd. I've told you, he's the Buffy channel. You know how, like, at the end of Season 2, Angel doesn't immediately get sucked into the statue? He hangs around for a bit, because he gets re-ensouled right before she has to kill him. And so they have a conversation, and she actually says, like, essentially a goodbye. He said that, like, his initial assessment of that was like, oh, wow, just to get that gut punch in there, you make this happen at this very moment so that these things can take place. And he said upon rewatching, his perspective is more that it was just a chance for our characters to share a moment, to show how much they care for each other, to have that kind of, it's like a closure of sorts in a really weird way, because it's also super tragic. But Spider-Man taking really long to die versus how everyone else basically just goes poof. It's like, I'm willing to forgive it because I wanted to see how Tony will react to it, and they fucking nailed it. And again, the plot takes a hit for a character to go poof, like a character detail.
Yeah, exactly. And it's actually funny because in my head I was kind of thinking just quickly when Spider-Man was gonna die. I thought that like the scene that happened, I thought that it was gonna happen the exact same way, but like 10 times quicker. I thought he was gonna be like, "Oh no, Tony!" fall into his arms, and then like Tony's just gonna, hold the pile of dust, like to get the kind of like father-son kind of thing they have going on, but like a lot quicker. But instead, they decided to drag it out to show even more emotion, even more character. which I am completely fine with.
Yeah, someone said it
that.
in the chat. Isn't it interesting that, like, one of people's favorite villains is Winter Soldier. I love Zemo. Thanos is fantastic. It's like all three of them were essentially created by the Russo brothers.
Yeah. They're just really good.
You know what they're doing. And this is why I trust them now with more so than anyone else with Marvel. Fuck it, give them all of the movies. Just give them all.
Do it, dude. Who made Homecoming?
That... I have no idea, actually. We can always check. Why? Because you think that was well written, or...?
Yeah, no, because it just... like, because we mentioned it before, the whole, like... Homecoming does a lot for Tony and Peter's character.
Yeah.
Or relationship. So
I don't know about crossovers for the other films, but there's a lot of writers for this one. On the screenplay alone, there's 6 people.
Oh, wow.
And then there's 2 people for screen story, and then the rest of it is, you know, from stuff created by blah blah blah. So yeah, 8 people have involvement in the story for that one.
Wow.
Anyway, do you want to now do questions? Because we're pretty much at the end, aren't we?
Yeah, I think we've covered most.
Aside from the stinger, which is just, yeah, Captain Marvel is going to do something that saves the day.
Yeah.
We'll be involved, I guess.
I guess it's kind of... Because the device he uses to call her seems really outdated. So I think maybe she will be in the past, and that's how they're gonna, like, bring in the whole, like, reversing... something like how they're gonna bring back
I assume they were gonna Captain America here in some way, in that she's super powerful. Where the hell has she been this whole time? She must have had a reason to not be around.
Yeah, I think it's some sort of time device because it's really old. So I'm guessing she has a really old one as well, but she lives in the time it's from. I think that's the kind of angle they're gonna go for.
And yeah, I know it's a prequel as well. It's the because Coulson's going to be in it, and obviously in continuity he would be dead according to the films. Oh, this is another thing that there was no TV references is basically at all in this film. That was something that I was actually expecting, but we didn't get a single one.
No.
Not that it's not a problem. I think they've got more important things to worry about, but I know a lot of people will be frustrated because everybody is upset that I don't watch the TV shows because they're important for the canon of the MCU, and as far as I'm concerned, it's like the MCU doesn't care that they exist. It might bring them in one day, there might be more references, but as I think you'd agree, Fortea, the only one that seems to genuinely be closely connected is Agent Carter, and that's still quite a stretch, just because of the fact that it has so many of the movie characters in the show.
To answer Samuel's question, I don't think Venom is in the same universe. I think he is still under Sony property.
The last time it's Fox, and the last time someone talked about
Fox,
that,
yeah.
Someone said that apparently he will be considered within the MCU, but he's not going to have any connections to it. Like, continuity-wise, Venom will actually count, but he's not being brought in or connected to yet.
Okay.
It might be, and I know this is just speculation, but it might be that maybe Marvel are going to wait to see how it runs, and then be like, okay, we can bring him in because he's super popular, or no, he's a sinking ship, leave him alone.
Yeah, because, I mean, we haven't really had a lot of Spider-Man, you know, actual... his kind of story more than like Falcon. No, not Falcon. What's his name?
Fringy, the Australian dude, has actually responded, so I can bring him in now. And I was going to say we've basically finished our assessment. Oh well, I've only just looked at his message. Sorry, I've been busy just talking about it. I should do it.
Hello.
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 Hello there. How you doing, mate?
How you doing?
You're a little bit too quiet for me. Why are you quiet?
Alright, let me turn it up. Actually, I'm not sure that I can turn it up higher. Let me move it closer.
Yeah, that'll do
better?
it.
Oh,
Yes.
there we go. Yeah.
Yep. Alright, how you doing?
Yeah, we've basically just gone through the entire film,
Yeah,
scene
I've
by
noticed.
scene. I'm meticulous with this sort of thing, and I think our overall assessment is so. I mean, if you know my content, this will make more sense. Obviously, if you don't, you just be like, huh? Objectively, I think it's flawed but a decent movie. And then considering the context and the meta of how this thing has come together, it's pretty great. Like as an attempt.
Yeah.
Subjectively, I loved it.
I agree with that. Subjectively, I was kind of, because when I initially walked out, I wasn't sure yet. I was trying to figure it out. I was leaning more towards the positive, but my mind kept going back to a few specific things that kind of bugged me. But overall, I'd say that in terms of what they managed to achieve, it's pretty amazing to have all of these characters in this one movie and to still be able to tell a coherent story from beginning to end that never really felt boring at any times. It never really came across as jarring. That's pretty remarkable.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's such a feat. Like, how did they pull this off? Where I watched it and I was like satisfied, like heavily.
Yeah, and the fact that pretty much most characters received a good amount of screen time, and most characters had some sort of relevance to the plot.
And all of their dialogue is stuff that you can just reference back to loads of old scenes from the other movies in terms of like behind what they're saying. And you compare it to Justice League, where it's chaos, and there's only fucking 4 characters for them to take care of, and they couldn't even do that.
Justice League is a very that movie makes me sad. As somebody who likes DC characters, that movie makes me pretty sad.
So anyway, I was just about to say we'll just take questions now. So, and then we'll just talk about aspects of the film.
Actually, I was meaning to ask: did you talk about the part with Star-Lord where he punches Thanos and that basically ruins everything?
Yeah. Our assessment was it gets stuck in our head as something we don't particularly like, but it makes absolute sense. I don't know if.
Does it though? I mean, if you know that the entire universe is at stake, are you really going to do anything to risk ruining everything for everyone?
I mean, the other films do imply.
I know he's angry, but still,
he cares extremely about Gamora to the point where this is the thing.
The universe is at stake, man. Like,
you say it as if he should be reasoning himself out of it.
He should, yeah, because the entire universe is at stake.
I don't know, man. Fury is a thing.
Yes, I know, but I just feel like once we get to the grand scheme of, hey, trillions are gonna die if you mess this up, I feel like that should still counteract being angry.
I mean, I was the one that brought it up earlier because I said that I really didn't like it, but I would still say that it makes sense because seeing red is a thing.
Yeah, no, I understand. I remember the same thing happened in Guardians of the Galaxy 2, where he just immediately starts shooting Ego as soon as he finds out that he killed his mom, and that makes sense. Yeah, you know.
And this is the thing I said to Fortea as well.
Yeah, thank you.
Do you think that if, did you have a problem with when it happened in Civil War at the end? The whole seeing red in that situation?
Tony? No, because that's one guy. That's one guy. I can understand that. And he just saw his parents get killed on video.
Do you think Tony wouldn't have done that in the same situation, but it was with Thanos and the glove?
I feel like if...
one thing I'll give you... Wait, the one thing I'll give you is Tony probably would have said to himself, get the glove off and then I can kill him easily.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking, though, isn't it? I feel like you'd still want to wait for the opportunity to really lay into them.
The other aspect that I have a thing to sort of say about, and chat, if anybody wants to create counter arguments, you're up for it, but or supporting arguments, either way, I'd be interested because this is definitely gonna be stuff I'm going to think about. Doctor Strange, this is all part of his plan, is my assumption. Is going to be the part 2 of this. Like, he's going to reveal that this is all something he saw, and that every single thing that takes place is all something that needs to happen for the ultimate thing to happen. So,
But you gotta wonder if, I mean, I have to imagine that if they actually got the gauntlet off of him, then they would have won. Yeah. So was that destined to fail? Because
which makes you question, couldn't, if Strange knew, maybe it wouldn't have. Maybe getting the glove off him wouldn't have stopped him. Because if Strange knew, you'd think it would, right? But if Strange knew, then he should have, booped Thingy away.
That, maybe.
Drop Quill through a fucking portal to get him away,
Yeah, I guess once you bring up the portal thing, when it cut off that other guy's arm, it kind of makes it a bit like, why didn't you do that again?
This is the thing. There's no way that me and Fortea, we've already managed to pull up a bunch of things that are like, but that.
Well, yeah, because I also wonder if, couldn't Thanos have used the Space Stone to teleport some of these guys, like, into space while he was fighting them?
when Peter Quill hits him, isn't he saying like, you know, did you kill her? Tell me, did you kill her? He like wants to know the answer.
He knew. I think eventually he wanted him to say it. He wanted him to say it expressly. That's what I remember. Because he knew at that.
I mean, couldn't you argue that that's what he's looking for then? The definitive truth.
No, he knows. He just wants him to say it. You know, like you see it in some films where somebody's like, "Oh, I want you to say it." Like at the end of Breaking Bad, when Jesse wants Walt to expressly say that like he needs him to shoot him for him. You know, it's that kind of thing. You just want them to say it, to admit it.
All right. I need to go to the toilet quick, but carry on, folks.
I saw that you were talking about the end scene, you know, where everybody starts disappearing, and I wanted to also add that I thought the part with Peter was really, really, really good. Yeah. Really well executed, because he's just a kid. So, I mean, obviously he's going to be terrified if he's just going to turn to ash.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, that was actually... Yeah, because when I saw that, I was like, oh, jeez.
Yeah. And it hits you right in the feels, too, because it's such a genuine reaction. It's just like, oh my god.
I mean, yeah, of course. I mean, he's still a kid. There's no way that he's just going to be there, like, comfortable with it.
Yeah. I think the actor's a bit older now, but I think in the, like, universe, he's, like, what,
he's
17?
16, I think. Yeah.
I think he was 16 in the first, like, his own film. But I think since 2 years has passed in Civil War, I think he's, like, 17 or 18 now.
True, but he's still in school. That's the pertinent thing. Though I'm wondering what the setup is with Captain Marvel, because I know that her film is meant to be set in the 90s.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering what she's been doing for the last 25, 26 years.
Mm-hmm. Well, my guess is that, you know, because they have to, in the next film, they have to do some sort of reversal thing where they bring everyone who died back. And I'm guessing the device that Nick Fury has is like a communication thingy with the past. So like she will get a message in the 90s from Nick Fury, and that will set off some sort of time, you know, difference, like different timeline kind of deal.
Okay, that's interesting. I gotta wonder if that will undermine the whole movie though, because I feel like some of these deaths need to stick, specifically the ones that came before the whole vanishing thing at the end. So like Gamora, Loki, Heimdall, and Vision. I gotta assume that all four of those guys are gone.
Yeah.
Because if they're not, then that's gonna undermine a lot of the good parts of this film.
I'm almost certain that the only thing they're gonna reverse are the gauntlet deaths.
Yeah. Well, I mean that's gonna happen because Spider-Man's getting his own solo film after this.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why when I saw it, I was like, that's cool, but I know that you're going to come back because you've got your own movie coming up.
And the thing is, like, I hate that I know that. I hate having the meta information, like metadata. It's so crap.
I know.
I also know that he signed a contract for Civil War, or like the second Infinity War film. It's not called Infinity War anymore, but I know for a fact that he signed the contract because it's like a thing that leaked online. And I was like, I don't want to know this.
I know. Once you know these things, it's like, now I know that this isn't, like, I know what's going to happen to a degree. To a degree that I don't want. Because it's not really the fault of this movie that I know that they're going to, like, it's not this movie's fault that I know that Spider-Man's going to come back on its own.
No, not at all.
Separated from what comes afterwards, this film is really good, but I know that what's coming, so I know that the ending is kind of a farce.
Yeah, and it almost goes so far that I almost wish that there's not even comics to go off of, because apparently there's not a lot, but there's a decent chunk from the comics that are like, you know, reenacted in the films, and then the comic that is like the sequel to this, the comic that was made into this film, like that probably has a lot of answers, and I don't want to read it. I haven't read it yet, and I'm probably not gonna. But there's probably going to be a lot of speculation online, which bases their argument from, you know, in the comics this happens, so therefore this is probably gonna happen.
Yeah, I don't know if you can do that though with these comic book movies, because think about Civil War. I mean, that's not very similar to the comic book at all. Like, if you've read the comic, it's very different.
They take whatever they want, don't they? They're like, I want this, I want this, I want this.
What works for the film, because you can get away with a lot more in comics.
The ending of this film is almost the same as the ending of the comic book for Infinity War.
Okay.
The comic book ends with Thanos snapping his fingers, basically winning. He has all the Infinity Stones and he snaps his fingers. That's where the comic ends.
Right.
Something I wanted to say as well. Someone in chat, I can't remember the name, sorry, but they said, doesn't it take away from the weight if everybody is, with good reason, so sure that these characters will return? Doesn't it kind of ruin the weight of all the deaths?
Yeah.
My response to that is that if I didn't know they were returning, which is no fault of this film, then it might have hit better and stuff. But the fact is, I know that Tony doesn't know that Spider-Man's going to come back. Yeah. So I get to watch him deal with it, and it's rough.
We were talking about that. We were talking about the fact that it's not really the film's fault that we know about these other movies.
Yeah. Not to mention that we get to see Spider-Man try and deal with it. He doesn't know he's going to come back.
Yeah.
So this is content. This is genuine content. It's like,
that's the thing. In the context of this world, they're pretty sure that this is, like, they're pretty certain that this is it. That they've lost, and these people are just gone.
And they've been told this is what's going to happen, and they let him get the stone and leave. So this is just, this Thanos got his last stone, and this is what's happening. We're all going to die.
I mean, honestly, though, I kind of saw this coming. I knew that he was going to get all of the stones from the beginning of the film. I knew that they had selectively edited those stones out of the trailers. I was like, yeah, he's going to get all of these.
Oh,
I
yeah.
really thought he would.
And
I really thought he would.
I said to Fortea, half my brain was like, it won't be this movie that he gets them all. Maybe he gets all of them and he has the last one, he goes to put it in or something. But then the other half of my brain was like, well, no, because this is definitely going to end with him clicking his fingers. That's going to happen. And I was like, and he's only going to do that if he gets the full glove, so...
Yeah. I mean... Because, again, the fact that we know that there's going to be another one, we know that this is the one where he's probably going to win.
You're sure he's not dead, then?
He's not dead. I don't think so. I think he won and he's there content with his work. Which I think... I mean, overall, I think Thanos is definitely one of the top-tier villains of the MCU.
Hey, we were talking about that.
Yeah, he is. He is. He's got... He has a motivation that he feels
is
justified.
Like, be honest, you never would have thought you'd be saying that.
No, I didn't.
Everybody assumed he's just going to be a tank that kills everything because why not?
Yeah.
But he's not. He's just a guy. That's the
most interesting thing about him. He's not even like he's not like a god. He seems to be less powerful than an Asgardian. Like, but with the gauntlet, that's the point.
Yeah, the only thing that like is his power, quote unquote, is I guess he has super strength because he fights Hulk. But
he had 2 stones at that point, though.
Oh, that's true. So I guess his only superpower, technically, you could say that his only superpower is that he can contain the power of the stones without turning into big.
It's the glove, isn't it? Yeah.
It's the gauntlet. Yeah. No, actually, no, because he could hold them in his hand.
Exactly. That's what I know. That's what I meant.
Yeah, but he was wearing the glove while doing that. No, I'm not saying he did it with the glove. I'm saying he has the glove on, and you can make an argument for.
How did he put the space stone into his gauntlet? Oh, the power stone, sorry. How did he put that into his gauntlet if he couldn't touch him?
Because what I'm trying to argue is not great. I'm just saying that the film could establish whoever wears the gauntlet now can hold thingies. Because the dwarf guy did say that it's like we had to create a device that made it capable of blah blah blah. It's like you could stretch that a little to say that. Besides, what's his name? Ronan could do one. Maybe Thanos can do.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, but I mean,
Guardians
Loki holds the Tesseract, so...
Yeah, but he's a god.
Yeah, and Samuel Jackson holds the Tesseract, so... it's easy. Yeah, he pulls it out in his hand.
Glove, though.
Oh, well, sure. I'll give you that. I just don't think Samuel Jackson's glove is it's all that powerful.
I really like the scenes, though, with Thanos and Gamora at the Soul Stone part, even though I knew that he was going to kill her. Yeah. And, like, the film was trying to be like, oh, you have nothing you care about. It's like, come on, he's obviously going to throw you into the...
I still thought they did the best they could, but I think everyone knew it was going to be her.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think there's a singular person in the fucking audience that would have said, oh, no way, he actually loves her. I think everyone was like, no, he does. The biggest giveaway is the fact that he doesn't hurt her directly.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's right. He obviously he cares about her because he said many times that she was his favorite daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he doesn't he takes measures to just not do anything to her. He just wants the information.
Like when she says that she hates this life, she hates this place, and etc. etc. He just instead of going on the aggressive and being like, "Well, fuck you," he's like, "Yeah, you've said that," and he's kind of sad about it, kind of even showing even more.
Well, I mean, he seems to establish throughout the film that it's at great personal cost because he seems to also care about these the members of the Black Order as well. Because he's not happy when any of them get killed either, which is better than a lot of movies where the villain's like, "Oh, I don't care about any of my people." Yeah. And it's just like, fuck off, come on.
The telekinesis guy implied that he might have. The telekinesis guy implied he might have been killed if he didn't get the thing out of his throat.
That's true. Well, punished. I don't know if he'd get killed. Because I'm not sure that Thanos was going to kill Loki before he tried to stab him in the throat.
Yeah, did you feel that scene struggled a little bit with trying to make jokes in what was a very serious tone?
Yeah. There were a couple of times where there was a bit of a tonal mismatch, I think. But
this is the thing. It's the same criticism I have for a lot of what's in The Last Jedi, but there's still so many nailed jokes in this film.
Yeah, that's true.
And I was saying to Fortea, it's a hard juggle because you're taking two very comedic characters from their previous film, Ragnarok, and you're putting them straight into incredibly harrowing, dark, and serious stuff. So it's would it be a continuity breach to not have them at least a little bit tongue-in-cheek?
Yeah.
I'm torn on it.
Yeah, but I feel like there probably shouldn't have been any jokes, because it's...
I said that's how I would have done it. If I was writing it, I would have had them be dead serious throughout the whole thing.
Yeah. But what happened to Korg and Meek? I want to know what happened to them.
It's a good point. Yeah. I think we assume they're dead.
What about Valkyrie?
Yeah, I have a feeling that the reason they didn't show them is because they'll turn up in the next film they're in and be like, "Yeah, we're okay."
Well, yeah, because I'm wondering how they're going to populate the next film now that half of the characters aren't going to come back until the end, probably. Now they've got no excuse not to have Daredevil in it.
The TV shows are not going to... I'm sorry, it's not going to happen.
Oh, but Daredevil...
It's not going to happen.
Man. Daredevil is my favorite comic book character.
I know. They call the TV shows canon to the MCU, but the movies haven't acknowledged them.
Yeah, but I don't see how you could justify having Black Widow on your squad, but not Daredevil, considering he's a more effective fighter than she is, and he's got super senses. You know,
well, of course, I agree with you, but I think they're probably going to...
She's bulletproof.
I think they'll do what DC... Well, no, fuck that line. No, I was going to make a point, but I already don't want to make that point. I think they're just not going to... I figured this would be the film that will finally acknowledge the TV shows if we're ever going to get one that does, and it didn't, not even a line.
Hold on. Let me look up, because I remember that the Russo brothers mentioned it. They already said that they weren't going to put the Defenders into Infinity War, but the fact that they only said Infinity War made me wonder, okay, but does that mean that they might be in the next one?
I don't know.
Because by the end of this year, every season of these Netflix shows will be done, and I feel like at that point you'd be able to advance it further and then have these characters be in without contradicting the shows.
It would be cool to have the finale of Daredevil's TV show, him meeting the Avengers or something, and then he enters into the film universe. That would be awesome, but I don't think it's going to happen. I think they see them as separate entities, but they allow everyone to feel like they're not. They allow everyone to be like, "Oh, this is all the same thing," and they're like, it is. Yeah, it's not the same thing.
Yeah, but that I don't know. It's kind of annoys me though that they're not. It's Daredevil is not some minor character, you know. Like he's not a minor Marvel character.
The fact is, Jessica Jones should have popped up by now. She's really useful for their team.
Well, yeah, but that was kind of an issue with the show as well. There's a superpowered person in the show that she's fighting against who's killed several cops, and that they're aware that she's superpowered, and they're talking about sending her to the raft. And all I can think is, how come you haven't called like Tony here to deal with this?
Yeah.
Why are you still trying to deal with this with like just regular cops? You know, this
is what I mean. I think they're going to be making the decision soon. Either we're bringing him in, or we're saying we're never bringing him in.
Yeah, but I mean, to me, I can understand because Daredevil is always fighting against people in the shadows. You know, Kingpin is a crime boss.
Mm-hmm.
The Hand are a bunch of ninjas. Nobody knows who they are. Whereas with Jessica Jones, they're more overt, and Luke Cage as well, more overt risks, which makes it all the less reasonable that regular cops are just trying to deal with them.
Yeah. And it's a matter of time as well. Even if Jessica Jones only beat the shit out of criminals, Tony should eventually get a flag about this. There is a woman rumor of her, because he's got an eye on superhero people, and it's just like I just don't think they're ever going to connect them.
Daredevil, man. Daredevil's my guy. I just want to see him there.
Maybe one day, Fringy. Maybe one day.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, I bring in more heroes. I want to see more interactions. I was going to say, I don't know what you feel about this, but it's just like, I felt that character and dialogue was just on point in this film.
Yeah, no, especially, I was really surprised that Thor, to me, Thor was, probably my favorite in terms of the journey that he goes on. Yeah, especially that really hype moment when he comes to Earth and the music, gets ramped up. It was just,
his entrance is awesome in the fight.
It was awesome. It was so cool. But it's also just the fact that of everybody, he's the one who's lost the most. You know, Heimdall's dead, Odin's dead, Loki's dead, half of Asgard is dead, and Asgard itself doesn't exist anymore.
And he gets his. Sorry?
Is only half of Asgard dead?
No, all of Asgard at this point.
Is it though? I thought that the whole thing with Thanos is half the universe,
dude,
perfectly balanced and all that.
All of Asgardians were on that ship. That ship is blown to pieces.
Yeah, but maybe half of them got let out.
What are you? They're all killed on the ship.
I didn't know that was the case, because I thought that the way that it worked was that half of the people got to live, no matter where he went.
Hang on. The opening scene, they're all dead.
Yeah, but what about? I don't know.
Regular dead, not Thanos Gauntlet dead. Regular dead.
Yeah, because that's what we discussed earlier. We discussed that earlier. And we said that that he doesn't want to like kill people by like force, like with like beating them. But the rule that killing half of the people is something he's gonna do when he snaps his fingers, right? But
I'm just confused. Hang on, Fringy, why do you think Asgardians are alive?
Well, people are putting out in the chat, there was a point in the movie where Thor said half of his people were dead, but it's also just because that seems to be Thanos' thing. Half of the people have got to go. Because remember when the scene with the flashback with Gamora?
But wouldn't you say that's just why would Thanos do that when he's planning on doing the click anyway?
I don't know.
That would again half the Asgardians.
Yeah, but that's better than getting rid of all of them, right?
Well, my assessment of the scene was he killed everyone on board, aside from Thor and Loki, because obviously they're the people with the stuff. And then obviously Hulk. Hulk got booted out, Heimdall got killed, Loki got killed, Thor was blown up with the ship. The fact that the ship got blown up is pretty much the definitive death sentence for every Asgardian aside from Thor. Which is huge, by the way, that he's the last of a species now. Well, that means that you can have throwaway lines to rescue them. If there's a Thor 4, then and it's done by Taika Waititi, then Korg could be like, there could be a tongue-in-cheek fourth wall breaking thing where he's like, yeah, we went off to get some food and we came back and everyone was dead. Easy. You bring him back in.
Oh, jeez.
So, yeah, if we can't answer them all, but if anyone wants to ask some questions, we'll tackle them and then see what we think. Because I think we're on the same page, all three of us, for how good this film is. It's like, it's got some great shit in there, but there's still a couple things that are really annoying.
Yeah. I think that would explain the mixed feelings. Because honestly, I'd say that it's a good movie. At first, I was coming out and I wasn't sure. I just wanted to think about it, I think. But now that I have thought about it, I'd say that this is probably as good as we could have expected a movie like this to be, with just how much was going on.
Yeah, we were saying it was so difficult to juggle everything they have. I can't believe they did this.
I think a very few people would have been able to get a video of this quality, or film of this quality, with all of the shit going on, with all of the characters and all the storylines coming together. I think it,
and the fact that it all did come together, and that it all came together in a fairly satisfying way.
Yeah, the
pacing was good.
I like that. Did anyone else feel that Thanos was a protagonist halfway through? It's like, I think there's an argument to be made that he is a strong antagonist. He gets to have all the benefits of being a primary character, but he's easily the bad guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. They did a good job characterizing him and giving him a reason. Like, in his mind, he's doing it for benevolent reasons. He's doing it to save everybody else.
I was actually saying to Fortea, I don't know if you agree with this, but like, I believe that Thanos believes he's right.
Yeah. Yeah, well, he has justification in his mind because his home planet fell to ruin for the very reason that he's doing this because his home planet failed because there were too many people there.
Yeah, and to add to that, Gamora's planet, which he did this to, is now blossoming.
It's okay now. Yeah. I mean, it's obviously not a good thing to do. Like, you know,
but
you don't want to be killing
well, it's cold, isn't it? It's cold and logical.
But that's the thing, it's not even, it's random. I mean, of course, it's interesting that all of the founding Avengers managed to survive, but it is, it is random. Thor, Cap, Black Widow, Hawkeye we know is going to be in the next one, because we've seen him on set. Hulk and Iron Man. They're all good.
That's kind of funny, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's fine, we're going to get them back anyway.
And only one Guardian, got out of it alive. Rocket. Rocket.
Yeah, I know. This is what I mean. I'm so ready for more. Like, I just want to see more.
I'm definitely excited to see what happens next. I mean, it did its job in that regard. Because
what do you guys pick for your favorite scenes? Well, favorite scene if you can. I'm trying to think of it now because I think outside the box just asked.
I mean, I would probably say the Spider-Man scene just because of the payoff.
Yeah. I think
that was the one scene that I was the most emotionally invested.
I think I might go with that one as well. It was really good. Could you call
that a scene though entirely?
Oh, of course you can. You don't have to.
Scene was
you don't have to stick to the actual definition of a scene. You could just your favorite thing.
Moments.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Well, then my favorite moments in terms of being oh shit was when Thor arrived on Earth.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's hard to compare those, right? Because that's like awe versus. I guess sadness,
like emotion. Yeah. But I guess another really good scene was with Thanos and Gamora with the Soul Stone, because that was kind of an important character moment for Thanos.
Yeah, I'd agree with it. And I'm pretty sure this will be very provable because my mind really clicked on it. But as I was saying before to you, there's like the film really wants you to feel bad for Thanos, and I'm okay with it because they've got all their information there. But I think they may have overdone it. They show his face full on like 3 different times, and there's a tear going down every time. Like it starts and finishes, and then there's some more talking. Like he does it at first when he realizes it's gonna be her, and she's prattling on, and then it's like shows him again, and then he turns around, she's like a tear, and then I gotta admit I found it weird that Red Skull was like, it ain't for him. It's like, do you wanna shut the fuck up, Red Skull? As if someone didn't catch it or something. I don't know. But yeah, I was like, you only needed to show it the once, but I felt like it was really focused on to be like, you see, he is sad about this. He is a good guy, kinda.
Well, I mean, obviously, it's still a lot worse for Gamora than it is for him, because she's dead.
Yeah.
It's still not like you should feel bad for him, because she's the one who got the worst deal out of it.
Interestingly enough, she may have ended up dead regardless, because she could easily be in that 50%.
That's true, because it's meant to be indiscriminate. It's meant to just be random.
Or maybe he could save her by like holding her hand when he does it. Like, click.
I feel like he might have, though. I feel like if it came to that point, he probably would have.
I actually thought, by the way, that one way they were going to go with this film was that he does it, and then, when it was showing people turn to ash, I thought for a second that he was going to cut back to him, and then he would look at his hand and maybe smirk and then laugh, and then he starts to fade away as if he was like, wow, I was unlucky with this. You know, I was like, that could be a really interesting way to do it, because then the glove would drop, and we've got the setup for the next film, which is we have the glove, and we've got a bunch of people. Well,
that's interesting. That's
I thought that's how they might get out of it.
That's interesting.
There's a lot of ways that the new film can go, actually. Like, I've told my theory, and like that's
also,
definitely an option.
Guys,
and what you said is definitely an option.
The idea that the Russo brothers have written 2 films altogether, if the next one is good as well, like, we have to remind ourselves of the feat once again that they will pull off.
Yeah.
Well, I'd say the fact that collectively they made the best one in the series in Civil War.
I'm glad you think that.
I'd say that Winter Soldier is top tier. I think it's top tier. I know that you don't think it's as good as
I would settle for the lowest of the top tier, probably.
Yeah, I suppose that's true, because it's hard to rank him, isn't it? I guess.
Oh yeah.
And with this one, I'd say that I don't know. At first, I wasn't sure if I liked it more than the first Avengers, but I think thinking about it, there's a lot more emotional beats in this one. They pulled a lot together. So it might be better than the first one, which would make it top tier as well.
Yeah, and now, like, going into because this is the 4th film that the Russo brothers do now. The next one coming up.
Yeah, number 4.
Like, now we have a pattern, right? What is it? 2 is a coincidence. 3 is a pattern.
Like, so like a good quality.
Yeah, 3 films of good quality. So now it's not only like
it's not a fluke
thinking. Now it's
they're going to make a good movie.
Expected. They have a lot to live up to now, because now we're expecting a good film.
Well, you got to remember that before they did these movies, they directed the paintball episodes, the season 2 paintball episodes for Community, which were really good. And that's how they got Winter Soldier off of those episodes. Yeah. Wow. Yeah,
those episodes. That's my favorite paintball, because there's a lot of paintball stuff in the show, and that's my favorite iteration. It's the Western one, right?
Yeah, that's the one. And then it was Star Wars afterwards.
Was it Star Wars?
Yeah, it was Star Wars in the second one, because Abed became.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, you're right. Because he became Han Solo.
I love Community.
No, yeah, I love it as well, but I think you're probably going to be better than me on that.
Well, I've been watching it recently.
Yeah, I haven't watched it in a while now, but I still do love the show. It was great.
Yeah.
Did Thanos drop the gauntlet?
Lin.
No, he didn't drop the gauntlet. I was just saying if he did. He didn't drop the gauntlet. He had it with him in the but they did show it quite damaged, didn't they?
I'm wondering if it will work again.
It probably can't do the same stuff. Maybe that's the point. It's nerfed.
Well, I guess it has to be, because once it's established that once he has the 6, you can't beat him. He's basically unbeatable at that point.
And yeah, by doing the thing that he wanted to do, he is now beatable.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. That's got to be it, right? Because how else can you come back from this?
Yeah, and there's a lot of ways they can take it. I mean, we were saying this about this movie. Where were they going to take it? And now we know, and I'm happy, like, for the most part.
Yeah.
Because it's like as Doctor Strange points out, there's hundreds of thousands of millions of different ways we could have gone. I think they succeeded with this one.
Mm-hmm.
But it's to be like succeed or failure just means that they need to have been competent enough, and I think it was well more than that. I'm sort of underselling it by saying that.
So actually, when we expect the unbridled joy?
Yeah,
that's the plan. There's a lot to say about why this movie is good, and I'm going to have to put a disclaimer in the video I make saying, yes, there's a hell of a lot of things that are wrong with it, but the whole point of my rage, or the opposite, is that I ignore the one side of the argument.
Yeah.
They're very much biased videos.
I mean to ask this now that I think about it. Do you think that it was wise for the Avengers to not just immediately destroy the Mind Stone, but to actually sort of try and get it out safely before destroying it?
You know why? It's the only person that could do it is the one person who loves him and demands an alternate method, and that's what got it fucked up. Because I think I got a better one to counter for you, like a better actual problem. I said this to Fortea. You know that they're like, okay, so we got them all coming up the front, and there's some going around the sides. That if they get through, then they're going to go straight to Vision, and that's a huge problem. It's like, okay, so the answer. We're going to open a giant gap to let the whole army flow in and hopefully hold them back. And it's like, okay. So the ones that are on the side.
still prevent other guys from going around the sides?
Well, yeah, the idea is that they'll be like, oh, we can get in that way, let's just go. So you're right on that point, but the other point is, why would you do that when you can just maintain the formation you have now, which is knocking out, what, like 6 per wave, which is easy, considering the powers they got there, and just put somebody outside the room of vision that's a superpower, you know, like Scarlet Witch, which they already had, who could fucking... Do you remember what they say? We can't get to him because, until Scarlet Witch leaves, so she leaves, and they're like, okay, now send Creepy Goblin Man in, and it's like...
How did they get in?
How did they get in? I am assuming they would have gone through the giant gap and then made their way to Vision directly, I suppose.
But then how did they get past the army?
Oh, well, it is a giant battlefield. I mean, I'm kind of making excuses here because I can't remember a scene that establishes that.
There was no scene. He was in there. That's what happened.
You're probably right. I really can't remember.
Maybe he teleported in, but then...
I was going to say, he does use that thingy, but the dome is supposed to... I don't fucking know. Point being is, they should have just maintained the plan and just posted people around the center, which is Vision, right? Or is he at the back? I don't fucking know. Either way, Scarlet Witch could probably knock out a shit ton of those things, so it doesn't matter if loads of them get to the room.
Yeah, that's... But again, even if they open the thing, I feel like you'd still have some of the guys go around the side. What's stopping them? What, just because you've got a big hole here, they're all going to run through there instead of doing the smart thing and going around the sides?
Yeah, I agree with you.
I mean... these things are portrayed to be kind of mindless, but even still, like, I don't see why you wouldn't still do that.
Yeah, this is because, like, I just didn't like that plan. And besides, they opened such a big gap, man.
They did.
And I know you could be like, that was the only thing they can do. It's like, no, it wasn't. That's the writer's choice to say that's the only thing they can do. Don't start with
once
that.
You establish that you've got this impenetrable force field... Oh, sorry.
That's all right.
I'm still ill.
But yeah, I don't know if maybe that goblin dude could have just gotten through because he's, you know, more important than the randoms. Maybe he went in through the back.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Like I said, there should have just been a scene for it to make it clear. What do you think about the fact that they retconned Thor's eye?
Oh, what, by just putting in, like, a little magical eye?
Like, you know, let's not mince words. They basically just said, no, he's going to have his eye back.
Yeah, I mean, it was nothing to me, really.
It doesn't, it doesn't really matter. It's just a strange choice. It's like, oh, okay. My friend's theory was that, he probably didn't like wearing the eye patch. It's just like, alright.
I'm not sure I like the eye patch, so... Huh. I'm not sure.
Oh, yeah. Moist just said that it's the Guardians of the Galaxy 1 reference, so I was right the first time.
What, the eye?
Yeah.
Oh, well, like I said, I know the leg was in Guardians of the Galaxy 1 as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't remember the eye, I remember the leg.
If people are gonna argue, it's like, yeah, but so it makes a lot of sense that you give him the eye back. I would just be like, yeah, but it makes it it's not that it doesn't make sense, it's fine. It's just you can't help it. It's a resource that was taken and then provided back. So you're just kind of like, was there a point there?
So why do you lose his eye?
Yeah, it's like I guess the things that I'm really stretching to say are reasons for this to have happened as an event is the one, we get to have lines from Hela comparing him to Odin in Ragnarok. Easier when he's lost an eye, I suppose. It's like, that's something. We get to have the fact that Rocket clearly cares about him to give him the eye. It's like, yeah, that's something. But, you know, it feels very much like that doesn't feel like what was the point of it all, though, does it?
No, like I said, I just think the whole eye thing was weird.
I don't know, maybe I feel like it was probably just let's just let him have both of his eyes.
That's how I feel about it. I feel like they were like, fuck it, just give him the eye back, goddammit.
Yeah. There was someone in chat who mentioned that apparently, like, according to Norse mythology, like, losing an eye is like the equivalent to, like, gaining more knowledge or something. Like, you lose
maybe Kratos needs to slice his eye in half.
Guys, we should all lose an eye. Also, Bio just said, if you think about them as a basic computer AI in video games, they will stop from destroying a wall if there's an open path. There's no establishment that they're completely mindless. You would imagine that they're controlled by the subordinates. And it's a bit pretty...
I imagine that they were just sort of like a horde, I guess. So they're not mindless, but I guess they're very...
Well, you know the ones that were already going around the back? You'd think that maybe some of them would have gotten through, because it's not like they're going to run all the way back, are they? Or are they?
Yeah, that's... Well, I mean, why would they, you know? Because it was demonstrated that they have no concern for their life.
Yeah.
So they're not actually going to do what's self-preserving. They're just going to do what they're supposed to do.
Also, that fucking barrier, dude. It's so dangerous. What if someone random was walking through the forest and then they bumped into it and... I was just trekking.
These things that felt quite threatening. Like, it was pretty visceral sort of combat with them. In fact, the whole movie had really visceral combat, if you ask me. Like, hard-hitting. It really felt hard-hitting and painful.
Oh yeah, the first couple of scenes where they like throw punches at each other, like the sound effects were like, like they were huge. I was like, whoa, what the fuck?
Bio said that Odin gave his eye up in exchange for wisdom. As in, it's a little bit more specific than the way it's not like he just lost an eye to get wisdom. And apparently, this only applies to Odin. Like I said, the only thing I could really draw from it is that it's just a reference to his father, and thus part of the payoff, I guess.
I just think that's weird. Like, we know that Odin had one eye. You don't have to, like, cut out Thor's eye to remind us of
I gotta be honest with you, when I saw Ragnarok and she cut him on there, I was like, ooh, that sucks. But I didn't I was like, oh, he lost the eye? I was like, oh, I thought she just cut him on it.
Surprised.
So they could have had him just have like the eye patch for healing purposes or something. Or just be like, oh man, I have to wear this now.
Well, like I said, I do like the connection with Guardians of the Galaxy 1, and I do like that it's a show that Rocket actually like gives a shit. I like that they have them. That's some neat little things.
Do they need to show that Rocket cares though? We know that he cares.
Yeah, but it's an action versus just a word.
Oh yeah, that's true.
And what I'm arguing for is why not? Why not?
Yeah, but the thing is, I don't think it was planned from Ragnarok into this film. I just think that the Russo brothers made the best of it. They're like,
it's a very. I know he's a god and all that, so it doesn't really count. But like, fuck me, fighting with two eyes is way better than one.
No. Well, no, Deathstroke, man. Deathstroke.
Fucking. Well, like I said, it doesn't actually matter because he's a god and this is a comic book thing. But you know what? On Earth, it's better to have two eyes most of the time.
No, I know. Can he see through the eye?
Because remember he says like, I don't think this is working. It's very dark, and then Rocket's like, it's not the eye, man.
Oh, okay.
Because the sun's gone out. Nebula is one of the characters I probably rate as being like, ooh, she was threadbare in terms of we get told
she didn't get much.
Yeah, it's not a problem. I'm just saying, like, it's an interesting, like, you could see that she'd be close to being booted out of the film with how limited she was.
Which is odd when she actually has a relationship with Thanos.
Yeah, I feel like she was stripped down to her core, which is her connection to those two.
Yeah, but maybe she'll get a more important role in the next one.
Well, she's probably going to replace Gamora on the team for Guardians now. Which is interesting to think about.
So.
Because there is a Guardians Volume 3, and I don't know about you guys, but I think Gamora is permanently dead.
I think so. I don't think that they can undo that. I feel like it's only the people who got killed by the Gauntlet.
Yeah.
I think that they can undo Vision, though.
Who died, please? Please tell me.
Destroyed.
If we discount phase deaths or whatever, the deaths in total are Loki, Gamora, and Vision, right? But Vision's a 50-50 because he could be repaired.
Yeah. I think they're
going to bring I don't know.
Back.
Well, I think he's perma-dead, personally.
I think he is because he had this big dramatic part where he died, and then they reverse it, and then he gets killed again. I feel like you can't reverse it
Not
again.
just... The line that did it for me... Because we've talked about how he's a robot and he could be repaired, but it was... Scientist girl said, we have to take these things out carefully, because if you fuck up one of them, it'll just, like, screw his whole system. No. And it gets torn out of his brain, so I'm pretty sure that something is gone in there, you know?
Yeah.
But I'd be fucking distraught if they were to bring back Loki or Gamora. I'd be like, bad move, bad move.
Yeah.
Let them die. Please let them die.
I think that Loki's definitely dead. I think that he's dead for sure. Because he had his character arc. He really got to the end point in
you know what it is though.
Ragnarok.
He's great. And you don't want him to be dead really, but it's like it's his time. It
is. He's been in it for 7 years. You know,
yeah.
He's been in it for a while.
Well, that sounds longer than it is. You know what I mean? Like he's got Thor, the Avengers. He's in Thor 2.
He's been in 6 movies.
Oh well, there you go.
Wait, has he? Yeah, Thor, Avengers 1.
Thor 1, 2, 3, Avengers.
Oh, 5. Yeah, including Infinity War.
When
yeah, that's enough.
When he says, "You shoot Spider-Man, I'll shoot this guy," and then Drax is like, "Do it, I can take it." No, you can't. Oh, this is so good. I really love that whole scene when they clash together because you'll probably agree with this. I imagine it's great as well. But when we knew Avengers was happening, you do, even though they're a team, you want to see Thor, Iron Man, and Captain America match up and see who wins, right? It's like, well, let them have a bit of fun, and they do. And we get to see Quill versus Iron Man, Spider-Man versus fucking like Drax and shit. It's just like, yes. As long as they don't kill each other, it's fine.
Spider-Man would have beat the shit out of Star-Lord. No.
Well, that's the thing. He has him with the gun right next to his head, and I was thinking, like, I wonder if Spider-Man's armor is good enough to just that wouldn't hurt him. And besides, he has the regeneration thing too, and super strength.
Well, yeah, that's right.
But it doesn't matter because fucking as long as Star-Lord doesn't know that for sure, so it's fine. You'll still maintain the threat.
I like the fact that they sort of played with that. The fact that these guys don't actually know who the Avengers are.
Yeah.
And then once you got that common thread with Thor, it's like, oh, Thor!
Wow, they do the well, I need to hear it again to know if it's a true reference, but I'm pretty sure it is, It's like, I'm Star-Lord, that he's like, who? And then they say, we're the Avengers. And he's like, and Star-Lord's like, who?
I don't think he said that he was Star-Lord in that scene.
No, I'm saying that it's the reverse.
Oh, yeah.
These are people that are important, telling Star-Lord he should know them, but he's just like, who? Especially because he's from Earth as well, but obviously he was too early.
Oh, yeah, and then they played around with that, like...
Oh, dude, when he says, tell about the dance-off, he's like in Footloose? And he's like, is that still the greatest movie of all time? And he's like, it isn't and never was. Seriously, they're really good at dialogue. Like, I can't get enough of their writing in these films.
Yeah. Super punchy when it needs to be.
It's putting them on the map in my head, I was like, oh, they're those guys, they made Winter Soldier, and I'm like, oh, they're those guys, they made Civil War, and I'm like, oh, they've got these 3 films
under their belt, and if they pull off the 4th one, then that's a pretty impressive track record. How often does a single director or a team of directors do 4 really good movies consecutively?
Yeah.
The best I can think of is 3 in the case of Peter Jackson with the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
Oh yeah, someone just pointed out in the chat when they're talking about Titan and the planet and stuff, in the background Mantis is just jumping up and down because she's got the low gravity. Yeah, you got Tony clashes with Star-Lord about who should make the plaid. Tony also clashes with Strange for who should make the plaid, because all 3 of these characters are the people who come up with their own ideas in their own films. Like, so it's great stuff.
All kind of egocentric.
Yeah, I said to Fortea, they're all alphas. This is how it should go down. They should all be like, I'll be the one that makes the plan. Especially fucking Tony. Of course, he thinks he knows best.
That's one of the important things about these films is the conflict. As much as them working together at the end.
Yeah.
That was kind of something that was actually lacking in Justice League. They kind of had arguments, but they never really put up a fight. I mean, if you guys can remember anything that happened in those movies, they only major... and then they all agreed anyway.
Yeah. Well, we get told it's Peter Quill's plan by Peter, but I'm assuming it's all Doctor Strange pulling the strings.
Yeah, well, that's because he had the knowledge, didn't he?
Yeah.
He was sort of the omnipotent one.
In continuity, it makes sense that he would be the one to try that, because that's something that he's done before, I think. It's a time stone. Why wouldn't he be able to do that?
I've come to bargain thing.
Yeah. This is an interesting question. What do you think, how much do you think Thanos being a compelling villain has to do with the fact that he actually looks like a real person and not a CGI blob?
I mean...
he is CGI though, isn't he?
Oh, of course, but Fortea was saying this as well, like, he was pretty damn good.
Yeah.
A lot of the facial expressions.
As CGI, yeah. They would have spent a lot of money on him.
He kept, this is the thing, all of his iterations, as we've seen him, they've just been progressively getting slightly better, but he's always looked so goofy, and now he's like, oh wow, that actually looks like he could be an alien.
I think it's the story behind him that makes him
I would say that.
Villain. I don't...
You could have, Steppenwolf...
We've said this before, that CGI awful. And stuff doesn't really, bother us that much as long as...
It doesn't really.
The counter for me would be, Steppenwolf looked crap, but if he had all of the shit they put into Thanos in Steppenwolf, I probably would have cared about Steppenwolf.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but maybe the part of the reason why we all thought that Steppenwolf was bad was just the fact that he sucked. And it's just not...
Seriously, dude, the moment I saw him, I was like, ugh, that's CGI, ew. But I wouldn't have cared if he had good writing. I suppose.
I guess we got to think about the fact that Darkseid kind of looks a bit similar to Thanos as well. He's a big guy with a big chin.
And Marvel have done this now, and you know what fucking DC are gonna do? Like clockwork, they're gonna try and catch up again, and then they'll be like, "Look at our purple alien."
Why are they still continuing though? I don't understand if they're continuing with this franchise because they can't. It's done.
They're constantly... I think the reason they make money is because Marvel is knocking out of the park, and the majority of the people in the world will go see movies. They don't even know that, the Marvel movies, the DC movies are made by different people. They'll just be like, oh, is this all from the superhero people? It's like, yeah, I'll watch another superhero movie, But
the thing is, though, is that Justice League didn't break even. It made like $700 million. Guardians 1 made more money than Justice League.
That's... amazing to think about.
Justice League is the original superhero team.
This is why it's so disappointing for fans.
How do you get to this point, though? You have Batman and Superman, for starters. Everybody in the world knows who they are, alongside Spider-Man. And then you've got all these other characters, and still nobody wants to see your movies. Except for me, because I'm too emotionally attached to DC characters.
Here's another strong question for us three. Who do you think the weakest character in the movie was?
Weakest in terms of character development? Or
I was going to let you guys decide what you think the question means more, but I was going to say, for me, I would take that as the one that maybe was handled the worst. Because it would be, if we just went with the one that was given the least development, it's like, well, there's loads to choose from because this film is packed with 70-something people, so I don't think there's much point in answering that. But... and this is the thing, I'll probably put a disclaimer of I don't think anybody was handled badly, but if I was to pick someone who's handled the worst... I might have to hear some arguments because I'm not sure.
I felt like Spider-Man probably should have had a few more lines. It felt like he wasn't as active a participant as I would have liked, but then again, he still did have an important role.
Yeah, I was going to say, I was pretty satisfied, and I can't see pushing him more without taking away from something else.
Yeah, but he's Spider-Man. He's the Marvel guy.
But he's not currently... He's not... I understand that, but, Iron Man and probably fucking Captain America are the men for Marvel right now. And then Thor coming close second, with Peter Quill and Black Panther probably next up. Well, I just looked over the poster. What I just said is pretty much exactly how they're actually posed.
Yeah, I mean, I know that Tony is the main character. I know that, but it's just Spider-Man is the main Marvel superhero, so I always kind of feel a little bit disappointed when he's not pushed forward. I know that he's a new addition, but he's Spider-Man.
Some people got suggestions there, like Black Widow, but I don't. She's fine.
She didn't have much. She did not have much.
Sure, but the question isn't development-wise, is it? It's just badly handled. Does badly handled mean they don't do much? Because there would be loads of people who that would apply to. I don't think that's fair.
Yeah, but what about the fact that they didn't really have much with her with Bruce?
Well, I've heard someone say in chat, and it might be true. I think they're trying to undo that relationship a little, like they're cancelling it. If you know what I mean.
Okay.
And that's a fair choice. A lot of people didn't react well to Age of Ultron's, growing relationship between those two. I was okay with it.
But I feel like you can't just abandon.
Well, they didn't though. They did look at each other for a bit. They did have their moment.
The Falcon said, "Oh, this is awkward."
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, how many lines did she have in the film? Like 10, 15 total?
Sure, but I don't. Why is that bad?
Well, I don't think it's bad. It's just odd because I'm not the biggest Black Widow fan, but she's a main character at this point. I'm surprised that she didn't.
Yes, but we also have a huge other selection of main characters and a whole new villain to be able to develop. All I'm arguing is that is it really that bad considering the context of the film? I guess.
No, I guess because it's a juggling act. You know, there's only so much you can do with so many characters.
And what I would argue is time was well spent, and I think spending more time on her would take time away from something that I would consider maybe more important.
Yeah, that's true. And it's also, I guess it's important to have other characters who weren't in these movies before having an important role. So like Star-Lord, Doctor Strange, I suppose Black Panther, or just the Guardians in general getting a fair amount of screen time. I was happy with that because they're newcomers into the whole Avengers thing.
I need to go talk to somebody I've been asked to talk to, so I'll just leave you guys talk about whatever you want. I'll be back.
No worries.
I'm actually gonna head out. It's really late and I'm really freaking tired.
In that case, I'll end it because we pretty much covered everything anyway.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening, folks. If you want to see this, I'll just post it in the Discord once it's processed. It'll be in the Watto's Junkyard channel. Overall, the feeling is that it was pretty great, and I'll be making a video for it. It'll be out in I don't know, a week probably. I'll do my best to make it as well argued as possible. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.
Bye.
And of course, thank you both for talking about all this for as long as we did.
Yeah, no worries. I'm probably gonna